school football is tradition-rich in this Buckeye state of Ohio. There's a Division III state championship on the line. Will it be the Crusaders of C.A.P.E. or the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic? Stay tuned. Title time is coming up next on Sports Channel. And we welcome you to the tradition-rich Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon, Ohio for today's Division III Ohio State High School Championship Football Contest. The Crusaders of the Cincinnati Academy of Physical Education tangle with the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic. Hi again, everybody. I'm Michael Regai. My pleasure to call the play-by-play for you this afternoon in this Division III state championship game. My colleague is no stranger to those of you who follow the football fortunes both collegiately and professionally here in Ohio. Former outstanding quarterback at Bowling Green and then later in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns, Mark Miller. And Mark, when we talk about Mentor Lake Catholic this afternoon, we're talking about head coach John Gibbons, who has got that Woody Hayes philosophy. He's excited, he's enthusiastic. And maybe more than that, he comes in here with 5 Division I All-Ohioans and a prolific passing game.
Well, he's got the program right where he wants it traditionally, and that they're expecting to go to the playoffs and to win a championship occasionally. And 5 guys on one team's unbelievable. And, you know, 4 of those 5 are involved directly with the skill part of that passing game. Now, I know it's windy here today, but they're going to throw it anyway. It doesn't matter. They got a quarterback, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end. The 5th All-Stater is right where you want him, at center, protecting the passer. So they've got a great passing game that's going to be fun to watch.
Mark talks about All-Ohioans. Once you keep an eye on one of the wideouts, his name is Joe Juravicius. All-Ohioan averages 18 yards plus per reception. And Mark, he's the type of young man that you kind of hang the hat on in terms of being your leader in that pass offense.
Well, not only does he catch the football for a lot of yards, he's a leader, as you mentioned, on and off the field. He's their punter, he's their kicker. He does it all. A great athlete, all-state as a junior, so he's going to be fun to watch, not only today, but for a whole nother year in high school football.
Last couple of years, Mentor Lake Catholic at 25-2, so John Gibbons knows where his program is, and he's got them right where they want to be here in the state championship game. When we talk about Steve Sheehan's Crusaders of C.A.P.E., tradition-rich. Mark Miller, 1985 and 86 state championships. Yes, you might remember the names of Carlos Snow and Vinnie Clark, 2 young men who obviously will play in the National Football League. But we've got the diversity here in Sheehan's program, from the prolific passing game of Mentor to the wishbone offensive attack that does it so well on the ground of the C.A.P.E.
Well, it's almost opposite from Mentor. Mentor wants to throw the football. C.A.P.E. wants to run the football. They love wind, rain, mud. They don't care. They're just going to run it up and down the field, and they've got some backs that can do it, and a quarterback that makes it happen in Juan Smith. So, you know, contrasting styles, but interesting. On the other hand, they both play great defense, so we're going to see some real hits today.
Mark Miller mentioned Juan Smith, the quarterback. Keep an eye also on a young man who totaled 20 touchdowns on the year, a Division I All-Ohioan fullback, Mike Barwick. He also is a tough, hard-hitting linebacker.
That's right. They got 2 great offensive players, Bird and Barwick. They both made first-team All-State on defense. One at linebacker, one at defensive back. So obviously they've got great athletes, can play anywhere on the field.
Great athletes should make for a great matchup. Let us show you in location how both of these ball clubs come to the city of Massillon from around the state of Ohio. We see that, of course, as you see the map of the Buckeye State up in the northeast corner, Mentor Lake Catholic. John Gibbons in his program, as we said, 25-2 over the last couple of years of prep football. And down in the southwest corner of the state, the Cincinnati Academy of Physical Education, of course, out of the Queen City of Cincinnati. The road to state championship time, Mark Miller, has been, well, we don't want to say relatively easy, but both of these ball clubs have made their presence felt. And let us now take a look at how both ball clubs made their way here to Paul Brown Massillon Stadium. Mark, there we see the C.A.P.E. They come in winning the Cincinnati Hills League at 10-1, and that defense that only allowed a total of 35 points all year finally was moved on a little bit in their 3 state tourney games.
And that's typical. When you get to the tournament, they're all good teams, and you're not going to have a weak sister, and typically they're playing for all the marbles, so it's obvious that some teams are going to play a little better in tournament, but you're right, they've been scored on more in the tournament on an average game-wise than they were the whole regular season.
And last week in the state semis, there you see Steve Sheehan's Cape Crusaders defeated St. Francis de Sales from the city of Columbus 18-13 in a tight one. Flip it over and take a look at the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic, their championship trail in that North Coast. Mark Miller win it at 9-1, and yeah, they racked up some impressive wins, 3 of them in this state run.
You're right, they're playing very well right now, and as you talked at the top, their loss may have been their most impressive game of the year against Ignatius. So they've played a tough schedule, as has Cape, and they come here to meet today representing their parts of the state very, very well.
You ready to go, Mark Miller?
I'm ready, I'm excited.
As we said, we've got 2 outstanding football programs here looking for the quest of a state championship in Division III. Don't go away. It's coming up next as we bring you Mentor Lake Catholic and the Crusaders of Cape on Sports Channel. We kick it off right after we pause for this local break. Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon, Ohio. We mentioned tradition rich. It sure is. And there's Division III state championship hardware on the line today as the Crusaders of Cape get set to go against the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic. Michael Regai along with my colleague Mark Miller. And Mark, we talked about the situation with the weather conditions today. That wind's coming out of the south. And as you said, it's going to affect the passing game of the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic.
No doubt about it. Cape won the toss. They elected to have the ball. Of course, the wind doesn't bother them very much, so they wanted the ball. And of course, Mentor took the win, so they're going to have to come out throwing. I think they're going to have to take advantage of the quarters that they have the win today and not totally go away from their game plan and what got them here, but use their heads a little more than they normally do.
And as you can see, that wind that's coming out of the south at better than 25 miles an hour, of course, playing havoc already. Tom Lockcar's got it all teed up on the 40-yard line. Whether it'll stay teed up for him is another matter. I think he's going to have to get a hold from Greg Gilson, one of the defensive backs for John Gibbons' Mentor Lake Catholic Cougars.
Today's game is brought to you by IGA, your hometown proud folks.
We're underway as the football is banged down into the end zone. Rashawn Bird along with the other deep man for the Crusaders of Cape. Jerry Thompson have a little bit of trouble deciding who's going to take it, and that'll bring it out to the 20-yard line as Cape gets this wishbone offense, quarterbacked by Juan Smith in gear. There you see it, Juan Smith along with Mike Barwick, the 200-pound fullback, the Division III All-Ohioan. Rashawn Bird and Terry Gladden, Ed Abernathy, and Jewel Johnson are your wide receivers. Up front, they go with some size and Thad Nelson, Stan West, Carlin Manuel, Derek Watkins, and Casey Cooper. Nelson, the big left tackle at 267 pounds. Juan Smith barking out signals at 1st and 10 out of the eye. He'll go option right. Football loose on the ground. Did Rashawn Bird get on it? He did, but it'll cost the Cape 6 right off the bat, back to the 14-yard line.
Mentor Lake Catholic opened up with a 4-man front, 3 inside backers, cover 2, which means the cornerbacks are up on the line of scrimmage. A great defensive coverage against the run game, against the option game, because you got somebody on the line of scrimmage ready to tackle the pitch man. That time the ball didn't even get to the pitch man.
Check out Brian Ferrito. Excellent move to the football, as Mark Miller just told you. That'll be a loss of 5. Make it 2nd and 15. Back from the 15. Smith, straight drop. Gonna fire over the middle, right through the hands of Eddie Abernathy at about the 26-yard line. Throwing into the breeze, Mark.
You're right, and the ball wobbled a lot. A lot of people, when you're throwing the ball into the wind, think the toughest part is on the quarterback. Certainly that's difficult, but that ball's moving. That's like throwing a knuckler at those receivers, and it's very difficult to catch. That particular ball was on target. He just couldn't bring it in.
You saw the defensive front 4 of Lake Catholic. They play that 4-3. Gary Merritt, Chad Broski, and Marty Lonkar, the backers. Secondary are featured Greg Gilson and Mike Molshevsky. This is 3rd now and 15. Big play, Juan Smith in the Cape. On the keeper trying to get to that corner. Tried to turn it up, finally ridden out of bounds at about the 19-yard line. So Juan Smith got back of 5, almost to the original line of scrimmage, but right away the Cape was going to have to turn the football over on downs. A lot of pursuit on that Lake Catholic defensive side.
Well, Lake Catholic certainly plays great defense, and part of that is pursuing to the football. The coaches want to see in the film, is all 11 of my defensive players around the ball when the play is blown dead? If so, that's great pursuit. However, you saw the speed of Juan Smith there. He almost turned the corner.
Mike Molshevsky and Terry Leonard are the twin safeties, standing at the 45-yard line of the Cape. Now, the kicking game is not something that has been very productive all year. We'll see what Juan Smith gets out of this. Off the side of his foot. Leonard from about the 43. Going to run this left sideline and finally go inside the 30 and knocked out of bounds by Tony Pierre. Excellent field position to start for John Gibbons' Cougars of Lake Catholic.
Well, I'm sure when Cape took the win, they counted on getting a couple of first downs and moving it out of there. They certainly didn't want to put the pressure in their punt game. As you mentioned, it's been weak. And now Mentor Lake Catholic has the ball on the 30-yard line going. They're almost in the scoring zone already.
Pete Jelovic, one of the All-Ohioans at quarterback. Watch him. He is an outstanding thrower with the wideouts. Juravicius, Jeremy Barnes, and Mike Molshevsky. That offensive line is anchored by Eric Bronson, the 200-pound All-Ohioan in the middle. One out of the eye with wideouts, Barnes and Juravicius. Excellent defensive read coming up from that left side. The Cape's defense getting the job done there. As for the Crusaders coming off that backer spot on the left side, Jerry Thompson put a big hit on Terry Leonard. Watch it here.
Great pursuit, very aggressive play up front. You know, they covered a man-to-man that time. I think the plan, at least Coach Sheehan said they're playing defensively, is to change coverages up. So we're going to see a lot of mix, zone, man, a lot of different types of zone.
Loss of 4 on the big play by Thompson. Put the football in the middle of the field at the 34. Call it 2nd and 14. Jelovic fires up this left sideline, picked off at the 12-yard line. Turnover. Jelovic threw it up looking for Joe Juravicius, and it was picked off by the corner, Rashawn Bird. Bird comes up with the interception. Turnover. Lake Catholic give it right back to the Cape.
Well, when you got an all-state defensive back like Rashawn Bird, you can afford to play man-to-man against great players, and he made the great interception on an underthrown ball. Kind of odd, underthrown, throwing the ball with the wind.
Pete Jelovic, who would rang up 23 touchdowns through the air, first-team All-Stater, picked off in his first try today. So the Cape gets it back, their second possession at the 13. Rashawn Bird would get the call, but we've got a whistle before the play got underway. Just underway at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium here in Massillon. Happy to have you with us on Sports Channel. Michael Regai along with Mark Miller. Legal motion, false start on the Crusaders of Cape.
They can't afford that. That's like the almost fumble on the first play that they gave away, and now they're putting themselves in a hole. That's not what the wishbone, that's not what a running game wants. They want the ball, to gain yards on first down, make it easier on second and third, and here they are operating out of a hole again.
The Cape went 3 and out on their first possession. Let's see what junior quarterback Juan Smith gets this time. He's operating with one wide out and out of the I formation. This is Rashawn Bird, knifing his way up to the 15-yard line. So give Bird a quick 7. Jeremy Barnes on the hit for the Cougars of Lake Catholic. Bird's kind of a slicer, Mark Miller. He looks for a little crease and he pitter-patters a little bit. That type of darting runner.
He's going to be very effective on this surface. This turf will give him great footing.
He's calling 2nd and 8 now from the 15. Out of the eye once again. Abernathy to the right. First man through, Mike Barwick, the All-Stater. Excellent move, Barwick. Comes up to the 25-yard line. First down, Mike Barwick. Found a little bit of a crease and then showed his ability to break tackles.
Well, Mentor had a chance to tackle him at the line of scrimmage, and Barwick forced a missed tackle. And that's why he's an all-state player, because he's a heck of an athlete. Mentor's switching up defensive too. They've gone from a 4-3 that we mentioned in the first set of downs. Now they're into a 6-1 kind of everybody on the line of scrimmage situation. So they're changing it up, trying to confuse Cape as well.
First down of the football game. 8:30 left in the first quarter from their own 25. Again, Juan Smith on the call. This is Rashawn Bird. Bird runs into trouble along that left side as Lake Catholic's defensive front came on him. That hit came from Chad Broski. Broski, one of the outside backers, the 5'10", 195-pound senior. Let me see the numbers, Mark, on Rashawn Bird. 81 totes for 792 yards, 7 touchdowns. He knows his way to the end zone.
There's no doubt about that. And playing behind Barwick, put both of their numbers up, and it's really staggering.
Give Rashawn Bird 2, 2nd and 8 from the 27. Again, Juan Smith with the eye behind him. Again, Rashawn Bird picking, slicing his way up close to the 30. Gang tackled by a whole host of white-shirted Cougars from Mentor Lake Catholic. Chad Broski again leading the charge, and he got some help from Gary Merritt, that other backer on the left side. Merritt, 5'11", 155-pound senior. So call it 3rd and 5. The mark here, we're going to see Juan Smith try to put it up.
Well, with a running offense into the wind, I'd imagine they're going to try something along the perimeter with some kind of option. Get the ball in Smith's hands or pitch it off to one of those two good backs.
3rd and 5 from the 30. Smith, first man through Barwick, first down as he struggles his way across the 35 to the 36. That quick hitter as Barwick dragged Chad Broski with him. Now this is Mark. Tell us about what the option can do and the wishbone can do inside.
Well, it hurts pursuit for one thing because everybody has to stay at home. And then by stay at home, I mean you've got to play your disciplined area of responsibility. The guys on the outside have to wait on the quarterback or the pitch man. They can't cave it down inside and go for the fullback every time because the fullback may not have it. So it forces the defense into staying at home.
16 yards from Mike Barwick now and a couple of totes of the football. 1st and 10 from the 36. Juan Smith faked the pitch that time and wanted to get out option right and was just drilled to the ground by Lake Catholic's Greg Gilson. Came off that right corner and put the hit on him. First down play, so very important as we take a look at it, Mark.
It looked like a pitch sweep, quarterback sweep, although Smith did look a little indecisive. I'm not sure if he just missed the pitch or wasn't really in a mood to run the ball. But again, you're putting a running offense in a hole, 2nd and long.
That's a loss of 6 for Juan Smith, so call it now. 2nd down and about 16 from just over the 29-yard line. Off the play fake, Smith fires to Ed Abernathy. Excellent defensive play. Pass was knocked down by the All-Ohioan Jeremy Barnes, who came in from that strong safety and read it well.
Well, he can go for the ball on offense or defense. Nice pattern corner route here. Smith puts the ball on target, but great reactions by Barnes.
That's a beautiful read on that. Mark, talk about breaking to the ball and how important that is.
That's like playing center field in baseball. Who can go to the ball where it's going to land at the crack of the bat? Same thing in football. How quickly can you respond to where the ball is going to be? Not when it gets there, but in flight.
Big play for the Cape. 2 wideouts at Abernathy and Terry Gladden out of the eye. This is 3rd and 16. Again, Smith feeling heat. Goes left sideline on the money to Mike Barwick. First down, Cape across the midfield stripe. Barwick seeped out of the backfield, and Juan Smith delivered it right now.
Well, it was a great throw into the wind. It looked like it was a perfect spiral. He put the ball where he had to, low and away to the outside. And look at Barwick now. He catches the ball. Look how quickly he gets upfield. He didn't have the first down until he ran with it.
Great presence of mind.
That's right. Great acceleration.
21 yards on the hookup. Our statistician David Knight tells us into Mentor Lake Catholic territory. The Crusaders of Cape go for the first time today. Their 2nd first down of the contest. Let's call it the 49 as Juan Smith runs the offense. Rashawn Bird, as he stood up. Tremendous hit by Scott O'Donnell. He came off that right side. O'Donnell just said, hello, Rashawn Bird, and put him down right away.
We mentioned in the pregame there's going to be some hits down here because of the aggressive style of defense both these teams play. That was a killer right there. That's one, you used to call them bike shots. Now you call them Rydell or what a Pac-10, whatever helmet they're wearing. But that one will loosen up your molars a little bit, I'll tell you that.
Got to tell you, Scott O'Donnell got some help from Jewel Johnson, though, one of the wideouts who was trying to get a block on O'Donnell and never did turn him outside. 2nd and 10 for the 49 for Juan Smith and the Crusaders of Cape. Rashawn Bird again. Scott O'Donnell stands him straight up. O'Donnell also got some help along that defensive front from Gary Merritt. They put Rashawn Bird down right in his tracks.
They're just trying to run a sprint draw and, give the ball to the tailback with a blocking back up front. And, golly, nobody blocked O'Donnell. He was very wide open, but he did a great thing. Even though he wasn't blocked, he wrapped him up good and prevented a miss, which Bird can make a lot of misses.
Loss of 1 as you take a look at Steve Sheehan on the sideline of his Crusaders of Cape, 13-0 on the year. 3rd and 11, Juan Smith. In trouble and goes down, lost his footing. He was getting some heat off that corner as Lake's corner, Brian Ferrito was coming strong, and Smith had nowhere to go and lost his footing.
They brought heat off of both corners, expecting the pass, trying to put some pressure on the quarterback, and it worked. Even though Smith slipped down, I think he was in trouble for the sack anyway.
So the drive of the Cincinnati Academy of Physical Education short-circuited here on the loss of 8. Juan Smith had to take that sack, and now Smith, who you see his numbers, punted 16 times for just a shade under 30 yards on the year. Let's face it, Mark, they didn't have to boot the football too much. They're piling up a whole lot of points all year long.
We joked before the game, 15 punts. We've had some teams do that in one game.
Terry Leonard back in that twin safety along with Mike Molshevsky. Molshevsky will signal fair catch and gather it in. The Cougars of Lake Catholic will start on their second drive with, again, nice field position from their own 38-yard line.
Football is on the Cougar 38-yard line.
So let's see what the Cougars of Lake Catholic come up with offensively this time. As you see, their all-Ohioan quarterback Pete Jelovic lead them out. Straight drop, and he's going to go on the squeak pass to the right side. Big yardage, first down and a whole lot more. Carmen Iaqua is gone. Touchdown, Lake Catholic. No flags, 62 yards on the screen pass right. And they set that up beautifully, and Iaqua got a couple blocks out there and took it the route, 62 yards and the touchdown.
Well, they put all those all-state receivers to one side in a trips formation. They caved them down inside, pulled every lineman but one. And they had so many blockers out front. The only question was Iaqua going to run into one of his own guys before he got to the end zone?
Little Carmen Iaqua, 5'11", 160-pounder. That is his 9th touchdown on the year. The PAT from Jim Novakovic splits the upright, so just like that, 62 yards. And the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic get on the board first here in this Division III championship game. 7-zip as we take a look at the screen. Look at the blocking.
There's so many white jerseys out in front of him. He's just trying to see the goal line right now.
Rashawn Bird, the last one with a shot. And Iaqua takes it the route. 62 yards into the end zone. Cavs basketball is here all winter long on Sports Channel. Join us as the Cleveland Cavaliers, one of the top up-and-coming teams in the NBA, meet the rest of the Pro League's finest. That's Cleveland Cavalier basketball with Denny Schreiner and Jim Jones all winter long on Sports Channel. Please be sure you check your local listings. So Mentor Lake Catholic takes a 7-0 lead. Mark Miller, very interesting in that only 3 plays from scrimmage have been run by Lake to 15 for Steve Sheehan's Crusaders of the Cape. But it's the board that counts, obviously. Boot comes down about the 5-yard line, taken back by Jerry Thompson. He got across the 20 out to about the 23. That's where the Cape will start their offense. With 3:03 left in the first quarter play, 62 yards. It took just one play on the touchdown toss from Pete Jelovic to Carmen Iaqua. And they hit it big. John Gibbons in Lake Catholic, if you did not join us at the top of the telecast, state semifinalists in 1982, 83, 90, and of course now in 91. Never won the state championship, Mark Miller, as we take a look at Gary Merritt being let off the field as he was injured slightly on the special teams.
Yeah, he was the wedge buster. He went down the field, and when we talk about a physical game, he blew up about 2 guys from Cape on the wedge to take out the blockers.
Cape finds themselves in a hole, their 3rd possession of this first quarter, starting from their own 24. Again, Juan Smith will run out of the eye. He's going to go option right. Tried to ward off a couple of white-shirted Cougars, and was finally knocked to the ground after about a gain of a yard. That all-Ohio linebacker Marty Lonkar in on the hit, and he got some help from Jason Coco. Well, you got to get those seal blocks, don't you, Mark, if you're going to make that thing go.
You're going to go around the end. You got to get the corner, and they're not getting it right now. Great pursuit by Mentor Lake Catholic. Right now, they hold the upper hand with aggressiveness.
We'll give Juan Smith 3, the 6'1", 175-pound junior signal caller. Call it 2nd and 7 from the 27. Off the play fake. Hit as he delivered, and the pass is caught. Excellent grab by Ed Abernathy. What a reception by Abernathy. He simply took it right out of the hands of Mike Molszewski. Molszewski, outstanding grab. Ed Abernathy came up big there.
Well, I tell you what, I thought it was intercepted going the other way, and Abernathy stayed right with it. The Mentor Lake guys kind of bumped each other off the ball, and he comes down with a catch. Great catch. Abernathy's the guy that Coach Gibbons was concerned about. He thinks he's a heck of a talent at wide receiver.
16 yards and a first down from the connection between Juan Smith and Ed Abernathy. You just saw Gary Merritt moments ago being worked on the Lake Catholic sideline. 1st and 10 from the 43. Rashawn Bird on the call. Slides across the 45 out to about the 47. Give Rashawn Bird 4 on that tote is Chad Broski. The right outside linebacker took him down for Mentor Lake Catholic. Four carries on the afternoon now for 15 yards for Rashawn Bird. It's going to bring up a 2nd down. Let's call it 7 as the clock winds down toward the minute mark here in the first quarter of play. Happy you're with us on Sports Channel. Mentor Lake Catholic on top of the Cape 7-0. Quick hitter Mike Barwick. He's got some room to go down near that 41-yard line. That play has been very effective. Just that quick inside trap with the big All-Ohioan Mike Barwick. Well,
he's so quick. We talked about his acceleration on the catch along the sideline a little while ago. He can really move, and look at the cuts. He wants to break it to the outside here, but good pursuit. He didn't see the guy coming, and they tackle him, but great gain.
So Barwick continues to run impressively for the Cape. 28 yards on the ground now for Mike Barwick and 3 carries of the football. First down for the Cape as they go off that left hash mark from the 41-yard line. 2nd time they've been in Mentor Lake Catholic territory. Trying to sweep that right side. Juan Smith nowhere to go. Smith was dragged down a couple of yards behind the line of scrimmage. Getting in and getting the hit on Juan Smith was Brian Worvey. Worvey, a linebacker, a junior, 5'11", 155. Take a look at it, Mark. He's had not much success going outside.
Well, you talked about it earlier. You got to get the corner, and Worvey split the 2 blockers, did a great job. Held up Smith long enough for his buddies to come, and right now they're controlling the outside. What yardage Cape has gained has been up inside with Barwick.
We've got a timeout on the field as the Cape tries to dig into this 7-0 deficit that they face. Mentor Lake Catholic on top of the Cape. You're watching Division III Ohio State Championship Final on Sports Channel. Very nice to have you with us from the very legendary Tiger Stadium here in Massillon, Paul Brown Tiger Stadium, and that a great name in the game of football at every level, Mark Miller. Paul Brown, the late Paul Brown.
You're right. He did it in high school, obviously, right here, as well as a couple other places. Did it at Ohio State. Did it in the military. Did it in the pros. A couple of different teams. Certainly not enough can be said about him. Paul Brown, who passed away just before the season started this past summer, and that was a major event here in Stark County.
Second quarter now underway. Let's call it 2nd and 12, and this is Rashawn Bird trying to pick his way, the second man through. Got back to the original line of scrimmage at about the 41 before he was taken down. All right, let's take a look at the numbers from the first quarter of play. First downs, the numbers are going to fool you here, Mark, because they're going to favor the Cape here, but they've certainly had possession of the football and got hit by the one big play.
Well, you're right, one big play, and that's all it took so far. Certainly Mentor has to control the ball a little bit more than that, especially against the win this second quarter. But right now, Cape's doing what Coach Sheehan wanted. Keep the ball away from Mentor and get a nice, long, time-consuming drive.
3rd and 10. Smith's going to put it up. On the delay over the middle, he's got Ed Abernathy. Abernathy trying to stretch out toward those sticks. He's going to come up about 3 yards shy. Got taken down at the 34-yard line. The hit came from the All-Ohio linebacker, Marty Lonkar.
Well, Cape wants to go to Abernathy when they throw the football. He's the guy. They're just running him on a little under route here. Little sprint action to the left side. He turns back and hits it right over the middle. It's good to have Abernathy's size when you're expected to go in there around where Loncar is.
Decision time now for Steve Sheehan and his staff on the sideline of the Crusaders of Cape, and they're going to talk it over. What they're looking at here is 4th and 4, Mark, at the 35-yard line. Now they've got the wind at their back in the second quarter of play, and we know how prolific of an offense that certainly we've seen on the other side of the football, so that might come into Sheehan's decision.
Well, you're right. They don't have much of a kicking game. They've really not had to have one, but certainly they don't have an experienced kicker to even think, even with the strong wind, to kick a field goal this long, and so they're just trying to decide what play are we going to use to go for it.
While the Cape Crusaders and the Cougars of Lake Catholic are talking it over, let me tell you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of Sports Channel. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this telecast without the prior written consent of Sports Channel is strictly and solely prohibited. Good to have you with us. Division III State Championship. Michael Regai along with Mark Miller, our statistician David Knight, our spotter in the booth Jim Gibson, all of us bringing it to you from here at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon. Big play, 4th and 4. The Cape down 7-zip early in the second. Play fake Juan Smith. Wants to go deep over the middle, tipped away. Excellent defensive play down near that 5-yard line by Mike Molszewski. The pass was intended for wideout Jewel Johnson.
Well, normally you'd expect Cape to run an outside option play, but that hasn't been working today, so they decided to go for it all. Play action pass, taking Abernathy deep, but it didn't fool Mentor Catholic. They're back there waiting on it.
So the Mentor Lake Catholic Cougars take over on downs, as not only did Mike Molszewski come up with that excellent defensive play in the secondary, but right end Scott O'Donnell again causing havoc in the backfield. Third possession now for Pete Jelovic, the All-Ohio quarterback, and the Cougars of Lake Catholic. Started from their 35. This is Terry Leonard. Will they get to the corner? A lot of blue shirts there to take him down before he gets back to the line of scrimmage. The hit was made by Stan West, first of all, the Cape defensively. That's going to bring up second down. Let's call it 11. This quarterback Pete Jelovic, as we said, runs this offense. And Mark, again, let's watch the pass game and how it unfolds. They got the wind in their face. They run 3 wideouts, and these guys know how to get the football.
Well, they've got a lot of passes. I'm sure quite a few of them work in a win game, so they've got a lot of offense you have to use.
Twin wideouts to the right and the All-Ohioan Joe Juravicius to the left. Again, though, the call goes Leonard. And again, the Cape defense again with the read. Again, Stan West coming up with a hit on that right side defensively for the Cape.
Cape's got great quickness on defense. They really run to the ball, and Leonard both times, once to the outside wide and the other side time just off tackle, barely getting back to the line of scrimmage before he's snowed under.
Now let's see if the pass game goes to work even against the wind. Mike Molszewski, Jeremy Barnes split wide off the football, 15 yards to the right. Juravicius wide left. Straight drop. Juravicius up this left sideline. Jelovic threw it a little too tall for him, incomplete. Rashawn Bird, I like Rashawn Bird, Mark Miller. He's pretty much lining up one-on-one, and with Joe Juravicius picked off Jelovic the first time they went at him. Bird's accepting the challenge on that corner.
Well, they're asking him to play tight man-to-man coverage on Juravicius, as well as the other guys on the other side of the field. But so far, Jelovic's just gone to Juravicius, and he was right there both times.
Speaking of Joe Juravicius, there you get a good look at him. Well, that's a nice average for a high school punter. Almost 39 yards per kick. He's going to hit it from about his own 27. Excellent kick against that wind, and a great roll inside the 25, and finally downed at about the 23-yard line. Juravicius did it the right way. Hit a line drive, 42 yards on that boot for Joe Juravicius. So Mentor Lake Catholic will go on defense with their 7-0 lead. Don't go away. We'll come back after this pause for your local systems. Back with you as the Cape takes over on their possession again. Rashawn Bird seeing a little bit of a crease and pounding out close to 10 yards in that first down. We'll see where it's marked. He might have come up a bit shy, but Rashawn Bird taking tacklers with him. Bird, excuse me, Mark, go ahead.
This is what C.A.P.E wants to have happen. They want to get the running game cranked up. They've had good success the last drive, and here they open this drive with a nice gain from Bird.
Give Rashawn Bird 9 yards on the carry. Let's call it now 2nd and 1 from the 34-yard line. The C.A.P.E operating down 7-0 to Mentor Lake Catholic. Out of the eye. Juan Smith will go to Tony Pierre, getting his first call of the afternoon. Gains about 3, first down, so the C.A.P.E will move those sticks. Talk about Tony Pierre a little bit, Mark Miller. Expected maybe to be an All-Ohioan this year.
Well, Coach Sheehan was glad that he was one guy they were able to get back for the championship game, coming off an injury, and he has been out enough of the playoff games that he's now healed, and he's able to play. Certainly a good player. You want him back for the state championship, and Pierre is here, coming in now for at tailback.
We mentioned the All-Ohioans in Division III for these ball clubs. We've got a total of 5 first-teamers out here. Of course, Joe Juravicius and Eric Bronson lead it for Mentor Lake Catholic. Again, Tony Pierre just finding a crease, dancing his way over the 40 to about the 42-yard line. He was finally taken down by Lake Catholic's number 61, Ed Locker. Locker's 6'2", 215-pound junior.
Well, C.A.P.E really moves it around on offense as far as the running game. Their top 3 ball carriers, Barwick, Bird, and Pierre, all within a couple of carries of each other, all in the 80s. And so they share the wealth back there, and that keeps them fresh and keeps you know, a back ready in there with ready to run the football up in there. Just don't wear out one guy.
Yeah, you just had a good look at Steve Sheehan, 96-18-1 in his 10 years at the C.A.P.E. This is 2nd and 3. First man through, Mike Barwick. First down and more across the 50 inside Lake Catholic territory to about the 48-yard line. That quick hitter is posing a lot of problems for Mentor's defense.
Well, when you set up all week in preparation for an outside game, you have to keep people out. This is an inside trap, a quick trap. He actually had his head down, but he bounced off and got to the outside. You can see the hands and the feet this guy has. He stiff arms one guy to the ground and gets around him to the next guy.
That's 4 carries of the football for 38 yards right now after Mike Barwick just gobbled up 10 more that time. And right now, Mark Miller, we're seeing exactly why on both sides of the football Mike Barwick earned those laurels of Division III All-Ohioan.
He's a great player. We haven't called his name out much on defense, but he's really pursuing to the ball and holding down the middle. We're seeing a little change in momentum here with the big play. Mentor Lake Catholic was sky high. They came out and very physically stopped C.A.P.E on a drive. And now C.A.P.E's starting to get the running game cranked up, and that's what they rely on. That's their bread and butter, and they feel that if we're starting to be able to run the ball now, things might be going our way a little bit more. So Coach Gibbons talking to that defense, hey, let's get physical again. We got to stop them.
Now we talk about defense, and actually the both defenses extremely stingy in terms of giving up points. But in case you're just joining us, the C.A.P.E with only 35 points given up in the regular season and having to operate against what is probably one of the top pass offenses in the state.
That's right. You know, even if teams throw the ball, they don't throw it as well as Mentor Lake Catholic. So this is a new challenge for them.
4 totes for 38 yards for that big fullback, Mike Barwick. This will be the 2nd man through, Tony Pierre. He got the corner inside the 45, lowers his shoulder and pounds down to the 41-yard line. Tony Pierre, shifty and dancing.
It's the first time they've got outside on O'Donnell. We've called his name a lot as having done a great job preventing them getting from the outside. Really the first time today that they've just gotten the ball flat outside without cutting up inside and then breaking it to the outside. So certainly some things are changing when you ram Barwick up inside. Those guys on the end start to cave it down in and try to make a hit.
It's the 3rd carry on the afternoon for 16 yards for Tony Pierre. Let's call it 2nd and 3 from the 42 now. Again, this is Juan Smith. He could go 15, 10, 5. He's in, but he stepped out of bounds back at the 16-yard line. Juan Smith running that reverse option to the left side and had room up that left sideline, but stepped on the boundary at the 16.
Well, we saw earlier, even when he didn't gain many yards, we saw him almost turn the corner. This kid's got great speed. You see him ward off a couple of tacklers there, and he's down the sideline. He's gone, but momentum carries him out of bounds very clearly right there. Good call by the official. 26 yards on that run for Juan Smith, the quarterback, who scored 8 touchdowns on the ground this year for Steve Sheehan and the C.A.P.E. Now knocking on the door, 1st and 10 from the 16. Tony Pierre. A little bit of a scene, carrying some white-shirted Cougars of Lake Catholic with him. Finally dragged down by Chad Broski. Got some help from Marty Lankar. But Tony Pierre now coming in for Rashawn Bird. Mark, big 1-2 punch for this
Cape offense.
Well, Pierre's really done a good job. I mean, you know, Rashawn's a great ball carrier too, but it seemed like when Pierre came in, he gave him a little burst of energy that they didn't have before, and that now they have the tailback and fullback both going, and now Pierre takes a rest, and he's earned it.
7-0, Meadow Lake Catholic. However, the Crusaders of Cape, state champs in 85 and 86, trying to erase that lead. Rashawn Bird explodes inside the 5, down to the 3. Wow, did he hit that hole right now.
Yeah, we just talked about when Pierre was in there, he was getting the rest. So here, that you know, they've got those 3 backs that they all give equal a number of carries to, and it keeps them fresh. It keeps them hopping. Boy, this is a great burst, almost into the end zone.
That's a quick 8 yards for Rashawn Bird, and there you see the mastermind, the gentleman in the red hat with the blue windbreaker on, head coach Steve Sheehan. This 8-play, 66-yard drive has taken the Crusaders of Cape to 1st and goal at the 3. They're running that robust T right now. Mike Barwick stood up, maybe got a yard down to about the 2, but the All-Ohio fullback and linebacker was corralled by Chad Broski once again.
Well, it always seems to get tougher down here in that the whole field is compacted. The defensive backs are up in there almost like linebackers now, and it's tougher to gain yards inside that 5, but you know, if I had Barwick on my side, I think I'd give him another couple shots to pound it in there.
Again, out of that straight, robust backfield, the straight T. Smith, quarterback keeper, dives in. Touchdown, Cape. 2-yard touchdown carry straight up the middle for that young man, junior quarterback Juan Smith.
Just what Cape wanted. They wanted a long drive. They kept it on the ground almost exclusively. They pounded them with the fullback and 2 different tailbacks, and about every play was a good gainer. So that's what Coach Sheehan wanted. They wanted to move it down the field, take time off the clock, keep that passing game on the sideline where it can't hurt you.
Cape's going to try to go for the lead here, down 7-6. Smith wide open in the corner. Rashawn Bird's got it. 2-point conversion for the Cape. Excellent play fake from Juan Smith, and he found Rashawn Bird all by himself.
Well, Rashawn Bird lined up at the right halfback's position, and that's usually a lead blocker, and on the play action fake, he went by the block and went into the flat, and as you mentioned, wide open. This is a real shot in the arm momentum-wise because it's not tied now. They're winning.
But offensively for Lake Catholic there, you see committing Jeremy Barnes, number 86. Mark, he committed, he bit on the play fake, and that'll kill you.
He wanted to make the big play and just wasn't disciplined enough, at least on that play, to stay at home and play his defensive secondary coverage spot, which was the corner of the end zone, right where Bird caught him.
So Juan Smith with a 2-yard touchdown run, and then the 2-point conversion pass to Rashawn Bird has given the Cape an 8-7 lead over the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic. And that's got to give Steve Sheehan's ball club a big lift. Mark, they're doing exactly what Steve Sheehan told us before the contest they wanted to do. With a prolific offense like the Cougars of John Gibson have, they've got to use ball possession, get the run game in gear, move the sticks, and chew up clock.
You're exactly right. That drive right there is what Coach Sheehan would like to have happen every time. Of course, what coach wouldn't, but that's his bread and butter. That's what he wants to have happen. The first couple of drives were 3 plays and out. That's a nightmare for a coach with a run game.
Mike Barwick kicking it off. Terry Leonard from his 12. He is stood up and taken down as the Cape special teams come up big. Tony Pierre on the hit right there. So Mentor Lake Catholic now trying to go offensively down 8-7. I had a chance to talk to the Cougars head coach John Gibbons before the contest. Here's what he told me.
Yeah, we've heard from all the alumni and the former players who made it to the semifinals but never made it to this big game. So a lot of them are going to be up here today replaying their careers.
John Gibbons, best. Now the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic go back on offense. Pete Jelovic. Straight drop, sets up screen, left again to Terry Leonard. This one went for 62 yards and a touchdown before. It's got a chance again. One man, Leonard. 5, touchdown again, second time today. That screen has brought big productivity for Mentor Lake Catholic.
Terry Leonard is good for the Cougars, 6 points.
We've got a flag on the play though, and this might be coming back. You're taking a look right here at Terry Leonard again on this screen pass. Beat Tony Pierre. Now, as you watch the tail end as Leonard went the route, the yellow hanky is laying on the 48-yard line right in front of the Lake Catholic bench. A matter of fact, one of John Gibbons' assistant coaches, Mark, just gave it back to the side judge.
Well, I was trying to see where a penalty might be called. It didn't look like any penalty was infracted, but certainly I think we could call a penalty. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Mentor Lake. It may have been a little extracurricular as we're following the running back down the sideline. Maybe one of those blocks didn't stop with the ground. Maybe it continued on, but certainly a break for C.A.P.E here as a different kind of screen, a weak side screen, but the same result.
Let's take a look, see if we see this illegal block. That's on Mike Barwick there. Called back, so the big bomb is wiped off the board. Now, on the option pass, Juravicius is there. Tremendous catch. Outstanding grab by Joe Juravicius, the All-Stater. He went up with Rashawn Bird one-on-one that time, and this time he beat him as Carmen Iaqua put it up on the money.
Well, pitch sweep here, or handoff sweep, and right away you know he's going to throw it because he's getting the threads in his hand. He throws it high and as far as he can, and this is why Juravicius is All-State. He caught it twice. Great coverage by Bird, but what a player Juravicius is.
32-yard hookup on the option pass from Carmen Iaqua to Joe Juravicius. Inside reverse, ball loose on the ground. Iaqua handed the football off to Mike Molshevsky, who came off that wing on the left side. Football went down on the ground, and the hit came from Jerry Thompson, the 150-pound junior.
Well, inside reverse, as you called it, and the handoff wasn't there. A lot of that due to the fact that C.A.P.E had great pursuit inside. They got across the line of scrimmage and caused havoc, which you need on those kinds of trick plays.
The loss was 5, so call it 2nd and 15. We're down to 3:15 as the Hankies come out. You've got movement along the line. It could have been lining up offside in the neutral zone on the Cape. Obviously, that's what it's going to be as the call comes down on the turf here at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium. It'll cost the Crusaders a C.A.P.E 5.
Well, you got to hand it to Mentor Lake Catholic. They get a touchdown called back. Usually that really deflates a team. But you know, I saw Juravicius on the sideline. He was trying to pump his guys up like, hey, so what? That's okay. We can still do it. And who comes up with the big play? Juravicius to get his guys going again. And here they are down inside the 30 with a chance to move in for a score.
2 penalties for 10 yards on the Cape. 2nd and 10 now. Jelinek rolling left, fires left sideline. Juravicius goes up, snares the football, first down at the 15-yard line. He ran that square out, came back to the football, and beat Rashawn Bird.
Exactly right. They had 2 wide receivers. One's going to clear, the other's going to run the out. Juravicius catches this one twice again. As we mentioned, throwing the ball into the wind, it's going to move. See how he caved the defensive back down inside. Bird thought he was going to the corner. No, he brought it back to the sideline. Boy, that's great concentration. He caught the last 2 balls he's caught twice. They both count.
We are seeing, as Mark just said, why this young man is a first-team All-Ohioan. Joe Juravicius, 6'5" junior. Now rolling right. Jelinek wants Juravicius again. He and Barnes got together in the corner of the end zone. Pass was broken up. Had 2 receivers in the same spot. Maybe a wrong route ran that time, Mark.
I think you're right. One guy's supposed to go to the corner. The other guy's either going to be on the out or straight down the field to try to stretch that defense, and they were both too close. You know, the quarterback just kind of threw it in there, hoping one of them would come down with it. And if I had those guys on my side, I might try the same thing, you know. Just throw it up, see what they can do.
Last 2 times, this is the first time in the football game we've seen Pete Jelinek, the All-State quarterback, buying some time by rolling the pocket a little bit. Double wideouts again. Now the 2-step drop, quick slant route fired over the head of Jeremy Barnes.
Well, you see this play a lot by passing teams in the scoring zone. A quick slant, a quick look in. All you got to do is get inside that cornerback, catch the ball before the safety, you got a chance to split the seam and get in the end zone. That time the ball was thrown a little bit too high.
It's going to bring up 3rd down and 10 now from the 15-yard line of the Cape. Pete Jelovic runs with just the one back. He's got Juravicius to the left, Jeremy Barnes to the right. Quick drop, again the slant, underthrew it. Jelovic wanted Jeremy Barnes again on that same route. They came back to the same play, Mark. They felt it was there.
Well, I think the coaches in the box are probably seeing that the cornerbacks for Cape are staying outside. If they stay on the outside shoulder, they cannot prevent an inside release. And if they catch that slant, all they got to do is connect on one of those last two, and it's a touchdown. But throwing into the wind, that's difficult.
All right, Jim Novakovic now off this left hash mark is going to try to bang one through from 32 yards away. It is in the air. It's got enough distance, and it is good. Excellent boot by Jim Novakovic as he banged it straight and through those uprights. To put the Cougars of Menor Lake Catholic back on top, 10-8 with 2:17 left in the first half of play. 32-yard field goal off that left hash by Jim Novakovic.
There was plenty to spare. He really pumped that one.
Menor Lake Catholic comes back with that big drive. They had the touchdown called back. They managed to come up with 3 to go on top, 10-8, excuse me, as you see over the Cape with 2:17 left in the first half of play. Coming up at halftime, I want you to go away in addition to bringing you the pictures and the numbers from this first half of play. I'll also introduce you to one of the assistant commissioners of the Ohio High School Athletic Association, Mr. Dick Tremere. Had a chance to chat with Dick, so make sure you stick around. That's halftime here on Sports Channel of this Division III Ohio High School Football State Championship battle between Menor Lake Catholic and the Crusaders of Cape. We've gotten all we've asked for right now, Mark. Both ball clubs giving us their specialties.
Two fine teams going at each other.
She's banged down a little bit short, picked off at the 35-yard line as the Cape's going to get good field position. Not wanting to boot it to Rashawn Bird or Tony Pierre, it was taken by an up man. And that was Louis Lanuti, a 5'8", 175-pound sophomore for the Cape. So they'll start it from their own 38-yard line with 2:13 left in the half. They're now down 10-8. There you see that scoring drive from the Cougars. 62 yards, 8 plays. Jim Novakovic right on the money from 32 yards away for 3. Let's see what Juan Smith comes up with out of the eye, the quarterback of the Cape. Second man through, Rashawn Bird found a little bit of a seam, danced across the 40, give Bird 3. He was taken down by Marty Lonkar, one of those quick backers for Menor Lake Catholic.
Menor Lake Catholic's bringing the outside guys on the line of scrimmage across the line of scrimmage so quickly. It puts a great deal of pressure on your inside backers because they have to pursue down the line and make a lot of tackles. But Marty Lonkar, All-State, is capable of doing that.
10 carries of the football for 36 yards for Rashawn Bird, says our statistician David Knight. Second down and call it 8. Wide open, Eddie Abernathy goes up and hauls in the Juan Smith pass at the 42-yard line. First down for the Cape as this drive now starts to get into position to do some damage. 19 yards on the hookup as here we see it to Ed Abernathy.
Abernathy lined up in tight, runs the corner route. Great throw, puts it between the safety and the cornerback right where there's a gap, and he had to put it there, and he did. Abernathy's a huge target.
19-yard hookup. Ed Abernathy impressing us today, the 6'3", 180-pound senior. Rashawn Bird dances and now is free in the secondary. Bird still on his feet down to the 26-yard line. Well, this is a tremendous 1-2 tailback punch. Rashawn Bird and Tony Pierre.
Then you drop the ball off to Barwick, the fullback. They've got 3 guys that can really tote it. They just can't tackle him right here.
Block from Barwick there.
Yeah.
He stood Marty Lonkar straight up.
He's making a lot of good defensive players miss him, so he must be a heck of a runner.
Now the clock's a factor. Only 40 seconds left as Juan Smith goes to work. Fires out here to the right side. He wanted Tony Pierre, led him a little bit too much. Incomplete. That, of course, will get the stoppage of the clock. So Steve Sheehan can talk about this as he comes up 2nd and 10 from the 26. Mark, the situation here, though, that the Cape is in, they pretty much are are negated in terms of their kick game. They haven't had much success with it this year, so that might play in a factor of how they run the offense here.
You're right. They're trying to jam it in the end zone. They'd like to run it in. They've had great success, but with the time, they've got to throw it. They've got a couple of timeouts. They need to use them.
Trips to the right as Juan Smith comes back. Screen left. He's got Jewel Johnson. He could go at the 10. Hit and driven down out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. They ran trips right and then came back to the weak side with Jewel Johnson. I like the play call.
It's a great call. You overload one side and then come back and you get him scooting up the sideline. Great blocks out front. He had a chance to go in and he gave it maximum effort. He goes airborne here to try to get it as close to that goal line as possible. The best thing that happened for Cape, ball went out of bounds, clock stopped.
Two impressive offensive football teams, Mark. Both sides of the football, they moved it up and down. And I tell you what, for two defenses that came in here with a lot of laurels, they're the ones that are going to have to make the adjustments at halftime.
You're right. We talked before the game about how when you get into the tournament, when you get into the state playoffs, you're playing better teams, and so you have a tendency not to do as well as you did in the normal regular season. And here, they're seeing two offenses that, you know, Cape may be the best running offense in the state, and Mentor Lake Catholic might be the best passing offense in the state, so certainly the defenses have to give a little.
There you see the numbers that count the most. Just moments ago, the 32-yard field goal off the right foot of Jim Novakovic of Mentor Lake Catholic, who you see there huddled around their head coach John Gibbons, gave the Cougars, who were seeking their first state title, a 10-8 lead. But after they elected to kick off short, Mark, and they gave the Cape great field position around the 40, and bam, the Crusaders have come right down on them.
Goes to show how important special teams is. They shortened the field. They made it a 60-yard field for this drive, and with 2 minutes and 17 seconds left to go in the half, that's not what Mentor Lake Catholic wanted to do.
First and goal now from the 5 out of that robust tee behind quarterback Juan Smith. Trying to cut inside as he ran option left. Will drag a tackler, Juan Smith, down to the 2-yard line. The hit came from Mentor's number 63 along that front line, Russell May, a 215-pound sophomore who's seeing some time. So Cape's going to use a timeout here and burn it with 21 seconds left. They're looking at second and goal from the 2. Now, we saw the 2-point conversion pass, Mark Miller, as Juan Smith hit Rashawn Bird. Might we see something like that again rather than trying to pound it in?
Well, that's good thinking, because if it's complete, it's a touchdown. If it's incomplete, the clock stops. With 1 timeout left and 21 seconds to go, they've got 3 downs left in this set of 4. They can do pretty much what they want. If they run it and get stopped short, they can throw the ball or use the timeout to stop the clock. So they should get 4 downs out of this if they need all 4.
Well, the run game out of the eye, out of the wishbone, out of the robust has been very prolific this afternoon for the Cape. 51 yards for Rashawn Bird, 39 yards from Mike Berwick. Tony Pierre has come in and added 21 more. They're already over that 100-yard mark in the first half.
They've done it very impressively. All 3 guys in the backfield having nice runs.
Remember now, just 21 ticks left in this first half. Again, out of that straight tee. Second and goal from the 2. Mike Barwick trying to slide off tacklers, and this time the Cougar defense came up big, led by the charge. Chad Broski and Marty Lonkar, both of them came up from that backers, and Eric Bronson, the other All-Ohioan, also with some help.
Just great pursuit. They kept bouncing him to the outside, and the contain was there. He couldn't get into the end zone. Cape here chooses to use their last timeout to stop the clock, so they've got 2 downs left, but no more timeouts in 15 seconds. So you would think they've got to throw the football, so it's either complete for a touchdown or incomplete, and they get that 4th down. So certainly would expect a pass in this situation.
Yeah, if you go inside here on the ground, you're never going to get another playoff.
That's right, it's over.
Unstacked, so could go wide on the ground and figure either you get in the end zone or get out of bounds, but you're playing with fire there, Mark, if the official says you didn't get out of bounds and somebody dragged you down by that boundary.
Or you slip. We've seen a couple of kids slip out here. I mean, the turf's a little bit wet, but footing should be good. They're just probably not used to playing on turf too much, but I think you got to play the percentages and throw the ball in the end zone 2 times, see if you can get a touchdown out of one of them.
Will this be the last play of the half for the Cape? Depends on their play selection. 15 ticks left, they're out of timeouts. 3rd and goal from the 3. Smith to throw. Wide open, Jewel Johnson, touchdown, Cape. Tremendous play call, Steve Sheehan, and carried out by quarterback Juan Smith and wideout Jewel Johnson.
Well, Jewel Johnson on the corner, similar to what we saw earlier for the two-point conversion, only this time coming off the line of scrimmage. He's wide open again. They were up on Pierre, thinking he was going to throw it into the flat again.
Don't you love that? Look at the reaction from Juan Smith.
Well, Juan Smith has done a good job today. He's thrown the ball much better than I anticipated. He threw it against the wind pretty well, and here with the wind, he's thrown it very well.
Again, the Cape will go for 2 for the second time today. Smith again, trying to get to the corner. Fires to the corner of the end zone and out of bounds. Eddie Abernathy was going up, but Jeremy Barnes and Mike Olszewski had Abernathy in their tracks. So split the two-point conversions on the day for the Cape. They hit one to Rashawn Bird. The second one to Ed Abernathy goes no good. But the touchdown drive comes up big as the Cape takes a 14-10 lead over the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic with but 10 seconds left in this first half. Like the play call from Steve Sheehan down there, Mark. We debated it, but Sheehan had the right idea.
Well, you're right. He threw the ball to the corner, too, where, you know, you tell your quarterback, hey, put it over his shoulder. Either he catches it or the thing's out of the end zone incomplete and we get a fourth down. You really can't lose on that kind of a play. If you throw the ball across the middle, it could be tipped and intercepted and all kinds of bad things. So throwing the ball to the corner, the most safe and secure spot for that kind of a pass.
8-play drive, covered 62 yards in 2 minutes and 7 seconds, says our statistician David Knight. Touchdown, the Crusaders of Cape. They're on top 14-10. With just 10 ticks left in the first half of play. Mike Barwick's got it teed up at the 40. Just squibs it down to Terry Leonard at about the 17. Leonard came across the 25 to the 27. So with the wind in their faces, Pete Jelovic, Mark Miller, maybe can throw it up one time or two. Probably one.
He's got the wind in his face, so he's not going to be able to throw it as deep as what he'd like to. And based on, well, they're going to let the clock run out and we got a half time.
Well, Johnny Gibbons leads his white-shirted Cougars of Lake Catholic out of Paul Brown's Tiger Stadium here in Massillon. Maybe a little bit stung by 2 big touchdown drives by the Cape. It's halftime. Don't go away. The Crusaders searching their 3rd state championship. Lake Catholic look at their first. 14-10, Cape on top of Lake Catholic at halftime. You're watching the Ohio High School Division III Football Championship. It's on Sports Channel. And we welcome you back, everybody, to Paul Brown Tiger Stadium here in Massillon, Ohio. Hope you're enjoying our Division III state championship game as the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic and the Crusaders of the Cincinnati Academy of Physical Education battle. It is halftime, and this distinguished gentleman to my right is Mr. Dick Termeer, an assistant commissioner of the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Dick, we've got heading into the month of December, and we've got a great final weekend for the state championships. But let's talk some about the winter sports that are getting set to go. Not only, of course, both girls and boys basketball, but we've got swimming, wrestling, all of the winter sports and activities going. And you and the group down in Columbus have been preparing for that since we last saw you at the State High School basketball tournament.
Right. We picked up right away. Girls and boys swimming's already underway. It will wind up in February with a state meet in Canton at Brandon Auditorium. Girls basketball starts, probably some of them are playing tonight, or maybe some even played last night. Boys basketball and wrestling. Gymnastics will start next week. The boys and girls basketball will be at St. John in Columbus. The wrestling will be back at the Nutter Center at Wright State. Gymnastics, boys will be at Worthington High School, and the girls will be at Dublin High School again this year. So that's kind of a quick review of the winter sports.
Dick, let's talk a little bit about the girls' programs around the state of Ohio. I think they are just escalating year by year, and that's a tribute not only to all of you at the OHSAA, but I think all the coaches, teachers, and administrators around the state.
Yeah, we're pleased the way it's gone along. It's really come along well. We're getting up, I think, about a 17th year now in the girls' gymnastics this year, so it has been some time, and they're coming along quite well.
You've seen a lot of state championships, these football championships this weekend, I think, again, are showing just what brand of football that the Ohio high schools have put together year in and year out, Dick.
Yeah, we had two great games yesterday. The afternoon game was two good football teams. The evening game the same way, and I think the second half of this one and the one tonight and tomorrow, I think we're going to go right on with 3 more football games.
Dick Tremere, we appreciate you stopping by, appreciate your time, and we hope that we can continue to see you on Sports Channel down throughout the roads of state championships.
So. Thank you.
All right, that's Dick Tremere, the Assistant Commissioner of the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Don't go away. We're going to give you a look at how this first half unfolded and highlights and bring you the numbers from the first 24 minutes of play. Also, when we come back, it's halftime here at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon, the Division III State Championship Football Contest. Both teams have returned to the field here at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon. There you see it, 24 minutes of Division III State Championship game football in the books. The Crusaders of C.A.P.E with their touchdown late in the second quarter of play, taking a 14-10 lead over the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic. Along with my colleague Mark Miller, I'm Michael Regai. Very pleased you are with us on Sports Channel as Ohio high school football comes to you in the way that it only can, the best here at state championship time. Mark, what do you say we take a look at the highlights from the first 24 minutes of action? And of course, we start with the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic getting on the board. Well, they ran this screen perfectly as Pete Jelovic would find Terry Leonard for a very quick 6.
Well, they set all 3 wide receivers to the right in a trips formation, had them block inside. They pulled as many linemen as possible. And he just has a whole host of teammates out in front of him. You know, offenses love one-play drives. Defenses don't like it much because they're right back on the field. But, boy, this was a beautiful play. There you see him picking his way down. He breaks back to the inside, and then it's a foot race with only Bird able to catch him. And right there, just a little push by his offensive center was enough to put him in the end zone.
There was Eric Bronson on that block for Carmen Ialacqua. 62-yard touchdown burst. PAT 7-0 for the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic. But here comes Juan Smith right back.
They needed this drive real badly. They took it all the way down the field, stuck it in with a quarterback sneak, and that was a drive that they got the running game going finally.
2-point conversion. Tell us about the job Juan Smith did here.
Well, Juan Smith fakes, and then he drops back, and Bird did a good job of scooting into the flat. Wide open, as you can see there, for the 2-point conversion. Big momentum play there. That put him up 8-7.
Well, with 5:01 going in the second, as Mark just said, you were at 8-7, but from 32 yards away, Jim Novakovic bangs this 3-point shot straight and true through the uprights. I mean, that split the center with about 15 yards to spare. So we're going late second quarter now, only 10 seconds left. Big touchdown pass, Mark.
Well, a similar play to their 2-point conversion. They're sending the guy to the corner, but it was a receiver on the line of scrimmage here, and he made a great catch. That's Jewel Johnson, is it? And he ended up catching the ball in the corner. There you see Juan Smith, and he's excited, and well, he should be. He had a great half of football.
Now, quarterbacks, you get a little bit excited when you throw a TD pass, don't you, Mark? That's a week of preparation to get that done.
You better. That doesn't happen very often. You got to take advantage when it does.
Folks, Mark Miller threw a lot of them at Bowling Green State University and then in the National Football League also. There you see the numbers from the first 20 more minutes of play. First downs, 12-4 for the Crusaders of C.A.P.E. Look at the rushing yards, Mark.
Well, the Cougars are -9, and those aren't sacks. Those are lost yards trying to rush the football from the line of scrimmage.
Passing yards, 139, most of it on that big 62-yard screen pass. And, of course, the time of possession, 18:44 for the C.A.P.E. as opposed to 5:16. Don't go away. We're coming back for second half action of our Division III State Championship game right after we pause for this local break. Just underway in the third quarter of play. The kickoff gathered in by Brian Wervey for a short return to the 38-yard line. That's where quarterback Pete Jelovic starts and fires the quick slant in. Gathered in by the All-Ohioan. That is Joe Juravicius. Juravicius, first down, 13 yards across the midfield stripe and into C.A.P.E. territory. First half possessions, there you see it for Mentor Lake Catholic. That big one, the one-play 62-yard touchdown drive, and then, of course, they got on the board with the field goal from 32 yards away. And right away, Mark Miller, Joe Juravicius, it looks like he's going to be a highlighted man in this offense.
Well, they're going to throw it. They got the wind at their back, and the wind has died, looking at the flag.
Again, straight drop. Looking at Juravicius, runs the out route right on the money. Good move. Juravicius could go. 15-10, goodbye. Touchdown, All-Ohioan Joe Juravicius. 49 yards right away.
That's hard to believe. This kid's a junior. I'll tell you what, he can play in college. He catches the ball in his hands, he tucks it away. Look at the great, it's just an out route, but a great out route. He squares it out to the sideline. Jelic puts the ball right on the target, and look at this. Don't go out of bounds, make a spin move, and now look at the cut. And he's got the speed, along with the size, to get it in the end zone. They're not going to catch it. Very, very impressive.
Outstanding 49-yard lightning bolt right away to get Mentor Lake Catholic back on top. Jim Novakovic will add the PAT. Folks, it took but 55 seconds into the third quarter. 49-yard touchdown pass, 2 plays, 62-yard touchdown drive, says our statistician David Knight. And Mentor Lake Catholic has reclaimed the lead 17-14. Mark, this is an outstanding wideout.
Well, you know, a lot of guys catch the out route and they think, I'm going to catch it and go out of bounds, but not the great ones. And this kid is a great one. He's played like this all year. This isn't a one-time deal. He spun to the inside, made a miss, and sprinted it into the end zone. They say this first possession of the second half is the most important part of the game. Mentor Lake Catholic scored.
Well, John Gibbons, the head coach of Mentor Lake Catholic, came out, as Mark Miller showed me at halftime, without the jacket on, in the just the T-shirt look, and I guess he meant business, Mark.
Well, he's trying to tell his guys, hey, it's time to lay it all out there. There's no tomorrow. There's no more football games to prepare for. We're going to remember this one for a whole year. Let's go out and give it our best and let what happens happen. And the kids came out and obviously responded on that drive.
Now let's see what Steve Sheehan has to do with his Crusaders of Cape as you look at Rashawn Bird, who is standing at the 2-yard line along with his twin tandem, Jerry Thompson. This is Bird, got to pick it up as he bobbles. He'll start from the 3. In a lot of trouble. Bird is corralled and just drilled to the ground at the 9-yard line. A hit coming from Lake Catholic's Brian Malloy, one of those outstanding special teamers. First half possessions for the Cape. Punted the first 2 times they had the football, turned it over on downs, but then the last 2 drives in the second quarter resulted in touchdowns. And there you see it, of course, the big 77-yard drive, and then, of course, the last touchdown drive that took them to that 14-10 lead.
It's that momentum, 2 touchdowns in their last possessions that John Gibbons had to solve at halftime. Let's see if he did.
Now down 17-14, Juan Smith going to work. Comes back with Tony Pierre, who gets a call at tailback to start this second half of play. Pierre split some time with Rashawn Bird in the first half of play. So Tony Pierre picks up a couple, let's call it 2nd and 8. Jewel Johnson slotted to the left with the I formation behind Juan Smith. Quick hitter Mike Barwick. Route in the open and room to run. First down, the Cape, as Barwick will take it 13 yards for that first down out to the 22-yard line.
Well, Lake Catholic had a lot of guys in the backfield, but they ran right by Barwick. And again, that quick trap upside. He's got the quick feet. He gets up in there, makes the linebackers miss, and he's into the secondary before you know it.
Mike Barwick now on the afternoon with 7 carries for an even 50 yards on the day after he went for 12 that time. 1st and 10 from the 22. This is Tony Pierre. Will he get to the corner? Slid his way back inside, finally taken down, but give Pierre a quick 5. It's a nice first down play to gain you some momentum and try to move those sticks.
Well, I love to see running backs when they go wide, they don't just run out of bounds. They plant like Walter Payton taught them all to do. Get up inside, make some injuries on the defense by popping them a little bit, and you never know, you might break it. These guys are well coached. They don't run out of bounds, they make yards.
This drive started at the 8-yard line, and in a quick 3 plays, the Crusaders of Cape have moved the sticks. 2nd and 5 now from the 27. Barwick again. This time stood up at the line of scrimmage. First time today that Barwick has been corralled. That All-Ohioan Eric Bronson in on the hit.
Well, you're right. It is the first time they stopped the quick trap, and I'm sure that Coach Gibbons told them, hey, we got to key on that a little bit. That quick trap gets into the secondary so quickly, we don't have a time to pursue. But if we can string it out, make them go wide on us, we get a chance to tackle them before they get downfield very much. So we're going to be keying on Barwick and that quick inside trap a little more this half.
Big offensive play right now on 3rd and 5 as you see ball on the 27-yard line for the Crusaders of C.A.P.E. One wide out, that being Airto Smith. Juan Smith going to fire over the middle, had it slapped down. He wanted to go to Jewel Johnson on that delay coming over the middle, and it was knocked to the ground by Jason Coco. There you see Jason, the big defensive tackle.
Well, they tried to slide it Airto underneath, or Jewel Johnson underneath a little bit like they did Abernathy earlier in the half. He was open, but the ball never got to him.
So the C.A.P.E. will have to turn it over on downs. That's a big defensive stand, Mark, not letting the C.A.P.E. out of deep in their offensive end after you hit him with that big lightning bolt for 6 by Joe Juravicius.
Well, you are not kidding. And also, that's the first time you stopped them in 3 possessions. That running game was really grinding you away. And now you go out and you stop them on downs, force a punt. You know, if things go as it should. They should get the ball on the plus side of the 50. This is a big momentum shift here again for Mentor Lake Catholic.
Juan Smith will hit it from his 20 against the wind, floats it. Terry Leonard from the 47 gathers it in, and then he is gathered in and banged to the ground right about the midfield stripe. And that's where the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic will start their 2nd possession of this first half. Mark Miller, I tell you what, if I'm Steve Sheehan and his defensive assistants right now, I'm going to be very wary of where Joe Juravicius is on the football field.
Well, so far they've just had Bird taking man-to-man all over the field, and it worked for a while. Now Juravicius is starting to get the best of him. And so they're going to have to give him some help. You're right.
Again, Rashawn Bird's out isolated wide out on the right side with Joe Juravicius. Jelovic looking at him again on the out cut. Got it, gathered it in right at the sticks. Completed pass at the 40-yard line. Give him 10 and a first down. Mark, you're an alum of Bowling Green State University. As we look at Joe Juravicius, there's a young man right now that plays for Gary Blackney's Falcons by the name of Mark Slaychek that reminds me so very much. Joe Juravicius reminds me of Mark Slaychek.
Well, they're the same size. They run the same kind of routes, and as usually happens, they're wearing the same number. And that's quite a compliment to Juravicius because Slaychek is just unanimous All-MAC this last week.
No question about that as Mark Slaychek and quarterback Eric White will lead the Falcons out into Fresno, California in the Cal Raisin Bowl that you'll see on Sports Channel on December 14th against the Bulldogs of Fresno State. Jelovic incomplete on his 2nd down throw, or on his 1st down throw. It's now 2nd and 10, yet he is unable to get the football to Jeremy Barnes today.
They've tried on 3 different occasions that I remember, and all 3 of them on slants. That's a tough timing route to throw. It has to be perfect. He's thrown 1 too high and the other 2 behind Barnes, but they need to balance Juravicius off a little bit.
2nd and 10 from the 40. The one-back set behind Jelovic, and that's Terry Leonard who's going to drag some tacklers straight up the middle. Give Terry Leonard 5 on that toe to the football, and let's call it now 3rd and 5 from the 35. We might mention that as you saw in our halftime numbers that the first 24 minutes of play minus 9 yards rushing, so that's going to get them back closer to that break-even point, Mark.
That's right. That's a big play right there for a lot of reasons. One, it takes a little bit of pressure off the pass game. Steve Sheehan said we have got to help on the outsides. They're double covering both wide receivers now.
3rd and 5. Leonard. First down and more. He's gone. 10. Knocked out of bounds inside the 5 at about the 4-yard line. Excellent closing speed off that corner by the C.A.P.E.'s defensive corner, Dante Payne, or that was 6.
Well, they're playing 2 deep. It's a 2-man zone, and they're putting another defensive back on the head of each receiver. Mentor Lake Catholic has 3. That's 5 guys dedicated to the pass. What do you want to do when they've got 5 guys dedicated to the receivers? You want to run the football. Steve Sheehan said, I am concerned because Mentor Lake Catholic uses audibles at the line of scrimmage. That may have been an audible.
1st and goal now from the 4-yard line. That's a 31-yard jaunt for Terry Leonard on 3rd and 5. Option left. Jelovic, pitch Leonard. He's going to coast to the corner. Touchdown, Mentor Lake Catholic. So the running game comes up big right now as you get a good look at Terry Leonard on his 4-yard touchdown on the option.
Well, not a play that's a staple of Mentor Lake Catholic's offense, but when you get around the goal line, it's a great call. Leonard in for the touchdown. You know, a lot of coaches say the run sets up the pass. We've seen today the pass set up the run.
Absolutely. Great way to break it down, Mark Miller. Mentor Lake Catholic now looking to go up 10. Jim Novakovic. Well, he's got a strong right leg, and with that wind behind him, he just banged it right out of Paul Brown Tiger Stadium here in Massillon. 2 quick touchdowns in the first 5 minutes and 33 seconds of this third quarter has given Mentor Lake Catholic now a 10-point lead at 24-14 as you look at tailback Terry Leonard dive his way to pay dirt. There's a 5-play, 50-yard drive for the Cougars and Mentor Lake Catholic. They're up by 10. This is an Ohio High School Championship football day, but starting January 11th, be sure to join my partner Luke Whitty and yours truly as the defending Mid-American Conference champions, the Eagles of Ben Braun and Eastern Michigan, head down to Athens, Ohio to tangle with the team picked in the preseason to win the Mid-American Conference title chase. The Bobcats of Ohio University and head coach Larry Hunter. Eastern and Ohio U as we kick off the 1991-92 MAC Hoop season. January 11th. It's only on Sports Channel. Five-play, 50-yard touchdown drive. Terry Leonard, 4-yard scamper, took but a minute and 50. Rashawn Bird on a knee in the end zone. This possession will start for the Crusaders of Cape from their own 20-yard line. Mark, I think they need a drive and they need points right now.
They need to answer. Mentor Lake Catholic scored twice in a row and in a very impressive fashion. Now Cape needs to come back as they did late in the first half. They need to get the running game going, get those 3 good running backs the ball, share it around a little bit, and move the ball down the field. They need to keep Mentor's offense off the field because right now they can do no wrong.
Cape rushed for 126 yards in that first half, and as Mark just said, they like to rack up some more numbers now. On the play fake, Juan Smith floats it up, picked off. Jeremy Barnes. Jeremy Barnes on the INT. He read it. It was intended for Mike Barwick. He simply looked in the eyes of Juan Smith and picked it off and rambled 20 yards back to the 13-yard line. And wow, has Mentor come out strong in the third quarter.
Well, Cape had a couple of guys open, but Smith overthrew him, and there's Barnes, all-state defensive back. I mean, there's all-staters all over the field. We keep saying that. We're not talking about the same guy all the time. Barnes hasn't done much on offense. He hasn't been able to get him the ball, but he makes a great catch and run here on defense.
Outstanding read in the red zone, the scoring zone, the hot zone, if you will, for Pete Jelovic and the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic. Jelovic rolling right, lofting it to the corner through the hands. Incomplete. That pass was intended for the big tight end, Tom Lankar. Lankar had it slide through his hands. He was there. That should have been 6, Mark.
Well, they ran the out on the outside that time, and the tight end Lankar ran the corner in behind it, trying to put number 2 there, the defensive back, in a pickle. They had it work. The ball just floated a little bit. That's the first time they've gone to Lankar today.
I'll tell you what, whatever the feisty Irishman John Gibbons said at halftime, it really has worked because he has seen his Cougars come out with a reckless abandon on both sides of the football. 2nd and 10 now. Carmen Ilakwa in the 1-back. He'll get the call. Ilakwa puts his head down, tries to move the stack. Will give Ilakwa about, let's call it 2 to keep it even. 3rd down and 8 now from the 11-yard line for the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic.
Well, a lot of teams in high school, you'd say this is 4-down territory, but now with the field goal kicker Mentor's got, they can pound this one in there.
Jeremy Barnes split 15 yards off the football to the right. Joe Jurovicius to the left. 3rd down and 8 from the 11. On the fade, Jurovicius got it, touchdown. Tremendous grab in the corner of the end zone by Joe Jurovicius. He went up over the top of Rashawn Boyd and simply said, that's my football, I've got 6.
You know what? Cape fooled Mentor Lake Catholic. They came up with tight coverage. Bird was on Jurovicius. They went to the fade. Before the ball was snapped, Bird dropped off. He's waiting on the fade. Jurovicius, look at this catch. Left-handed, kept it in bounds. I were still coaching receivers at Bowling Green, I'd want that kid pretty bad. He'd make me a good coach, wouldn't he?
You would have wanted him when you were throwing at Bowling Green. Come on now, you had some good receivers, but this guy could have fit in. Joe Juravicius, we highlighted him in our open, and you're seeing why today. The young man is just tremendous on the afternoon. The PAT has been added by Jim Novakovic, and Mentor Lake Catholic has come out with a 21 spot right now in the first 6 minutes and 30 seconds. That touchdown drive covered 13 yards in 3 plays and just 49 seconds. The final 8 going from quarterback Pete Jelovic to Joe Juravicius.
You know, we're kind of getting lost talking about Juravicius so much, but Jelovic's really throwing the ball well this quarter. The first half, I think the wind messed with him a little bit, as can be understood, both against the wind and with the wind. Right now in this quarter, I think the wind has died down. Looking at the flag, it's kind of waving now, not standing out at attention, and he has really been on the money.
Mark Miller, if you're Steve Sheehan right now with your Crusaders at Cape, you're down 17, and let's face it, you have been hit right between the eyes. I mean, 6 minutes ago, you're in the locker room at halftime feeling real good about yourself, up 4, and now you've just been hit with a ramrod.
Well, you're going to find out what kind of guys you got, and they didn't get this far by being, guys that give up when things go tough on you. So certainly they had it going their way. They scored at the end of the first half, and they come out, and Mentor Lake Catholic is really taking it to them. We'll see if they can bounce back now.
Rashawn Bird along with Jerry Thompson are set in the dual tandem back at the goal line, waiting to receive this kick. Approaching it, Tom Lonkar bangs it deep. Bird will start from the goal line. Taken down as he crossed the 15 at about the 17-yard line. The hit came on the special teams from Brian Malloy, the 5'5", 150-pound junior that is not afraid to sell his body out.
Well, it certainly is a team game. Offense breeds confidence on defense, and the special teams kind of breeds confidence from both of them. And boy, did they cover that kick. They were down there blowing people up. Bird got the worst of it. He's not real sure he wants to go back in the huddle. He's aching a little bit. Juan Smith, and now we're going to have a penalty.
Crusaders of Cape now are going to have to start inside their own 10-yard line on this, their third possession of the third quarter. Now find themselves in a 31-14 hole after leading 14-10 at the half. Mike Barwick along with Rashawn Bird in the eye behind quarterback Juan Smith, looking at this 4-3 defensive set of Lake Catholic. And oh, are they fired up and playing some kind of an emotional football now, the Cougar defense. Rashawn Bird gathered in by All-Ohioan Marty Lonkar, the 195-pound backer.
You can see he's in the backfield. And, you know, he got Bird from behind. You know how deep he was in the backfield. They are playing very aggressively right now. And you know what? It just takes one play to settle down some of that aggressiveness. And Cape needs to pop that fullback through there like they were earlier on that quick trap. Get those linebackers a little more cautious than what they are right now.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12 from the 6. Off the play fake. Smith fires that in route right on the money. Ed Abernathy left it on the ground. That's a fumble. Reception and a fumble. Give it back to Mentor Lake Catholic. Turnover, Crusaders of Cape. Marty Lonkar again came up with a fumble. That's a tough break for Juan Smith and Ed Abernathy, as Smith hit Abernathy beautifully on the numbers, and he looked like he was going to put some distance between himself and the Mentor defense.
Well, you can see there, he slid it into a tight fit. Great throw, great catch, just couldn't tuck it away. And why do guys make All-State? Because they're always around the ball. There's Lonkar.
Well, what kind of field position has Mentor Lake Catholic been blessed with in this third quarter of play? Second turnover in the last 2 possessions from the 30 of the Cape. Jelovic, screen left, it's worked all day long. Carmen Iacqua's got himself inside the 10, still on his feet, and loses his footing inside the 5. Third time today, the Cape hasn't stopped it yet all day.
Well, there'd be a lot of other teams be well advised to take this film and put these screens in, because they're running it to perfection. Again, weak side screen to the tailback, Alak was out there, and look at the fellas in front of him. And you know, a lot of times you'll see screens where linemen run down the field and don't hit anybody. These guys are knocking people all over the place. Alakwa not willing to go out of bounds. He wants to score and almost got in there.
He doesn't lose his foot, and he's going in. 25 yards down to the 4-yard line. Knocking on the door for the 4th time in this quarter are the Cougars. Option right, Leonard. Good cut. Down to the 2 before he's finally secure. Taken down by the Cape's Casey Cooper. Cooper, a 255-pound senior.
Mike, I think this was an option too. You saw Jelovic standing at the line of scrimmage, talking both sides. He probably checked to the option. Almost got it in the end zone. A lot of teams, if they do options, they'll call a run-pass option where he goes to the line of scrimmage and sees which he has the best chance to perform, and then he'll just tell him run or pass. Obviously, he doesn't say run or pass. He gives them numbers, and they run that play. Here he goes again. He's checking at the line of scrimmage.
2nd and goal from the 1. Leonard buries his head into the end zone. Touchdown. Mentor Lake Catholic. 1-yard TD burst for Terry Leonard. 2nd in this 3rd quarter of play, as Mender has come out with a vengeance. 27 points on the board in the first 9 minutes and 15 seconds as we await the PAT.
Well, Cape runs the football. They like to control the ball and have long, time-consuming drives. Not the kind of offense you'd like to be running when you're down by this many points.
Jim Novakovic again will bang that point after through the uprights. That is his 5th PAT on the afternoon. As Lake Catholic has blown it wide open with a 4-touchdown, 28-point 3rd quarter burst. Put themselves in a great commanding position, 38-14 over the Cape. 3-play, 29-yard touchdown drive, Mark Miller, in just a minute and 30 seconds. And unfortunately, after playing an outstanding first half, the wheels have come off on Steve Sheehan's Crusaders.
Well, they've given 2 turnovers in a row, the interception and then the fumble put Lake Catholic's offense in great position, and they did what they had to do. They stuck it in there. They didn't give it up on downs. They didn't settle for a field goal. They stuck it in for 7 points each time, and that's a tribute to that kind of offense. Certainly Cape has got to cut down on the turnovers. Got to get some points on their own, but right now all the momentum's on the green and white side.
Well, the Cape needs points, and they need them in abundance, and they need them in a hurry now. Clock's starting to get a little bit short. 2:45 left in the 3rd. Lankar is going to boot it away. Jerry Thompson will have to gather it at the 5. Thompson will cut through a seam, and he's got a lot of green now. 1 man for Thompson to beat. Cuts back and loses his footing at the 25-yard line. That may get Mr. Momentum, if not back with the Cape, Mark Miller, at least back on their shoulders for the time being.
No question about it. Gives them a little shot in the arm. Nice return, great blocking up front. You know, a lot of times when the ball squirts around on the ground, it kind of throws the defensive coverage team off rhythm. He caught the seam up the middle, made a couple of misses, and now just speed takes over. And we've seen a lot of slips here today. He slips when he goes to cut back inside, or else he might have been in the end zone.
Outstanding kickoff return from Jerry Thompson. Football at the 29. Mike Barwick gets the call. Bang his head down to about the 22. Gain of about 3. Let's call it 2nd and 7 as Barwick tries to go to work for the Cape.
Credit John Gibbons and his defensive staff. They knew that that play really hurt them in the first half, and they've shut it down. Other than the very first time that Cape ran that inside trap, they've shut that trap down here in the second half.
70-yard kickoff return from Jerry Thompson. Mike Barwick went for 2. Straight up the middle. I think that was a busted play, Mark Miller, because Mike Barwick and Rashawn Bird never moved.
Never came out of their stance. We saw earlier in the first half where Juan Smith ran the quarterback sneak a couple of times and for good yardage, so you might think that that was a call out of the huddle, but I think maybe the center snapped it on the wrong starting count, which might explain why there were so many Mentor Lake Catholic guys standing there waiting. Nobody else was blocking. Put him in 3rd and long.
Yeah,
makes it tough.
3rd and 7 now from, let's call it the 20-yard line. Airto Smith, wide left, only wide out. Play fake Juan Smith. Had Abernathy open, looking for him in the corner. Knocked down in the corner of the end zone by Jeremy Barnes. We've got a Lake flag coming in. Flag came in after Barnes knocked the football down. I think we're going to get defensive interference on the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic.
I think you're right. There's a lot of them in the end zone waiting, and they're not very excited, so it is. Pass interference against Mentor Lake Catholic. You know, Smith had Abernathy early on the corner, had a chance to hit him right in the corner of the end zone. He held the ball, reloaded. By the time he threw it then, a lot of the defenders from Lake Catholic recovered, and they were there. They went up for the jump ball, but somebody obviously climbed Abernathy's back and got called for the penalty.
So that's going to move the football down just outside the 10-yard line, which of course means that if that spot where I see the official going to put it down with his left foot, the Cape can get a first down inside the 1. So let's call it first and 10 from the 10.5. 38-14, Mentor Lake Catholic on top. Toss sweep, Rashawn Bird. Going to reverse his field. Looks to get a block. What a tough run. Cut it back in. Rashawn Bird just gave us about 30 yards of galloping, Mark Miller, and he picked himself up 3 on the stat sheet.
And how many times do you see a play like that where he totally reverses field, go all the way for a big gain? He had a chance here, but he cut it up inside, thought enough is enough. Look at this. This is just great athletic ability. Hand down, prevents a knee from touching. Now he goes the other way. Look at this guy accelerate. Well, this is where defensive guys get blipped because they don't see a blocker coming, man. They get killed.
I think Rashawn Bird needed one more block, and he was gone. He could have turned it back in for 6. Give Bird 2 for all of his effort. 24 seconds left in the third quarter play with the clock stopped. Mentor Lake Catholic on top by 24, 38-14. In case you're just joining us here at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon, the Cape left this turf after the first half of play with a 14-10 lead, but they have run into a 28-point barrage in the third quarter by Mentor. Big play, 2nd and 8. Rashawn Bird, good cut, lost the football. Loose on the ground, and I believe that Bird may have gotten it back, but let's wait till they unpile. Rashawn Bird had his arm ripped, and the football was dislodged after he made that cut inside the 5. Mentor Lake Catholic's come up, turnover, the Cape. Wow, does that hurt?
Well, you can see here, good blocking inside, good cut. He was headed for the end zone, but somebody reached down. Number 33 right there, great picture. Saw him pull his hand away from the ball when you're running inside, especially down around the goal line. You're well advised to use 2 hands, and Bird didn't. He had 1 on there. Again, turnovers, last 3 drives, interception, fumble, fumble. Big games, you can't win playing good teams with that many turnovers.
Brian Ferrito, the defensive end, 5'11", 175-pounder, came up with a great strip on Rashawn Bird. 36 minutes now in the books, just 12 more left at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium. Cougars, Mentor Lake Catholic, big by 24 over the Cape. You're watching the Division III State Championship contest on Sports Channel. (38-14), Lake Catholic on top of the Cape. Just starting the fourth quarter play. Michael Regai along with Mark Miller from Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon. Rashawn Bird just turned it over inside the 5 to give it back to this just prolific offense of Mentor. Carmen Iaqua over the 5 to about maybe the 6. Quite possibly down here, John Gibbons wants his football team now going against the wind, Mark, to just maintain possession, grind some clock.
You're right. He's not really interested in how many points he can win by, just that they win, whether it's 1 or 101. So, Girard Vicious, the first time he punted against the wind, punted it very well. I'm sure that he's going to try to get a first down, but he's not going to get silly with the ball down here and take chances.
Pete Jelovic racked up an outstanding third quarter play for himself. The All-Ohio quarterback, straight up the middle. Trying to move that pile again, Carmen Iaqua. Iaqua bangs it out close to the 10. Let's take a look at the numbers now. After 3, as you see the tremendous rush that the Cougars put on. 247 passing yards now, Mark, for 284 total.
Well, they caught up and passed Cape in the yardage, and then look at the turnovers, 3-1. And when it's what you do with those turnovers that counts. And the last 2 turnovers, they've turned into touchdowns.
3rd and 3 now for Mentor Lake Catholic, as joining Alakwa in that backfield is Marty Lankar, the All-Stater. He's going to move to the fullback spot. We got flags that have come out, stopping play, delay a game against Mentor. It's a 3rd penalty on the afternoon for 31 yards in total against the Cougars. They're going to be looking now at about a 3rd, oh, let's call it better part of 9.
Again, an attempt at an audible. Jelovic was checking at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if he was going from run to pass or vice versa, but he was trying to get into the best play possible. It just took him too long.
Jelovic, first-team All-State quarterback, threw for over 1,800 yards this year and 23 touchdowns. 3rd and 9. Keep it on the ground. Carmen Ilaqua bangs out to the 10. We'll give Ilaqua 4, but that's going to bring the punt team on for Mentor Lake Catholic, as the C.A.P.E will get their hands back on the football for the first time in this 4th quarter. 38-14, Mentor Lake Catholic. Looking for a state championship here in Division III in 1991. The C.A.P.E won it twice, in 85 and 86, representing Divisions 3 and 4 in those 2 years. Juravicius maybe had it partially tipped as he tried to get that boot away. It comes down at the 32-yard line. We've got a flag back there, though, and we could get a roughing the kicker penalty or running into the kicker penalty on the C.A.P.E.'s Carlin Manuel, the 205-pound junior. Let's take a look at this.
Well, they had to make something happen. They had to try to come after the block, and as you can see, no ball, a lot of body.
And for a moment when it first left, Mark, I thought maybe it was partially tipped, would of course would negate the flag, but obviously no.
All it takes is a finger. It came out of there low and kind of end over end, did look like a tip, but on the replay you could see it got away cleanly. As C.A.P.E.'s rusher came from the outside, and Juravicius punted the ball down the middle.
That's going to keep the drive alive for the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic, as you get a good look at Steve Sheehan now, just shaking his head. His club needed the football. They did not need that. 1st and 10 from the 25 for Pete Jelovic. Tremendous defensive play by Carlin Manuel there, as he just took Carmen Ilaqua right now before he could get started.
They brought him hard off the weak side corner, and they guessed right. It was weak side sprint draw. They both went by the lead fullback, and bang. He and Abernathy both in on the tackle.
That's a big league hit from Carlin Manuel.
C.A.P.E.'s got to take chances like that. They got to bring some people.
Yeah, you got to gamble now.
That's right. You're exactly right. It's 4th quarter time. Got to let it hang out.
Double coverage on Joe Juravicius as he splits wide to the right. Keep it on the ground. Marty Lankar will bang up over the 25 to about the 26. Give Lankar the 2.5 or 3 back that Ilaqua lost on the first down play.
Well, we're seeing John Gibbons here. He's got confidence in his defense. He knows he thinks he knows he doesn't have to score any more points to win this football game. Plus he's a smart guy. He realizes we keep the ball on the ground, the clock's going to move. Let's go home with the championship trophy. So we're seeing good coaching here, and that's how you get to the state championship.
Clock becoming a factor now. We're at 8:30 left in a 24-point Mentor Lake Catholic lead. Jelovic, Juravicius, great hands, got it first down out beyond midfield at the 48-yard line. He ran that, what looked to be like that post, and then broke it off back to what would be a post corner in essence, Mark.
I think you're exactly right. And play action pass, roll weak side with the lead blocker. And right there it is, beautiful throw to the outside. I'll tell you what, 6'5" against 5'9", and 6'5" has been winning all day long.
27 yards in the first down out to the 49-yard line of the C.A.P.E. We're going to check the numbers on Joe Juravicius in just a moment. They are starting to be racked up rather impressively. 7 grabs for 156 yards is once again. Flag comes out as Terry Leonard banged down to about the 45-yard line of the C.A.P.E.
Thrown in the area of the play that usually means holding or face mask. He kind of got spun around there, so we'll have to see. There it is.
Well, the hold's going to go on Mentor Lake Catholic. That'll negate the first down carry from Terry Leonard. As you get a good look at Pete Jelovic. There's the numbers. 9 of 16, state championship record, Mark Miller. 242 yards and the 3 touchdowns.
Well, he hasn't had to throw it too many times, but he has certainly hit the big ones when he needed them. In the screen passes, you know, you usually expect screen passes to, you know, get up in there for a few yards. They've gone big time for him today. That's a lot of yards in one game, and he's got a quarter to go.
First down and 18 yards to go from the 44-yard line of Lake now as Jelovic brings him up. Straight drop. Lofting it up for Jeremy Barnes. Adjusts to the football, but that's picked off. Jewel Johnson, who caught the touchdown pass, just wrestled it away from Jeremy Barnes. We've got another flag on the play, so we're going to hold it for just a second. Mike Barwick's telling the official that we're going to decline this and take the INT. Mark, take us through it.
Well, again, he's trying to go to the other side now. He hadn't, you know, he's gone to Giravicius so often. He's got to try to get the ball to Barnes. He underthrew it. Great play by Johnson. I mean, that, you know, that was a tie. They both had a chance to come down with it. Jewel Johnson worked a little harder on that play. Came down with the interception. Great play.
So the Cape gets a football on the turnover, and Steve Sheehan's Crusaders just definitely have to get points on this possession. They're down 38-14 here in the 4th quarter of play. Juan Smith will run the offense. Straight drop. Rush on. Smith is gathered and taken down. Big time blitz by the Cougars. Scott Schuster. Let's check that. It was Scotty O'Donnell. Watch O'Donnell. Came in with a hit. We called O'Donnell earlier today. He's played an outstanding game at his defensive right end.
He really has. He's put a lot of pressure into the backfield. That time he got around Bird, who was assigned to block him on pass protection. Got into Smith, and it's a good thing because Abernathy was open on this side. I think Smith saw him, had him in his sights, but he couldn't get the ball off.
It's a 2nd sack of the day for Scott O'Donnell, who takes a very wide split on his defensive end slot. 2nd and 20 for Juan Smith. Going screen left. Jewel Johnson. Johnson plucks a couple of tackles and pops out to the 35-yard line. So he got back 8 of the 10 that the Cape just lost. They're still looking at 3rd and 12. Mark, they need a play.
Well, good call here on 2nd and long is to throw the screen, get part of it back. We've seen two good screen teams. Mineral Lake Catholics has gone for big money, but the 2 times the Capes run screens, they've come up with good yardage on both of them. And it's a great call. Anytime you're getting pressure like both these aggressive defenses are applying, you're getting great pressure on the quarterback. You got to dump it over the head of those rushers, and the screen is the obvious call.
Cape center Carlin Manuel out over the football on 3rd and 12 out of the eye for quarterback Juan Smith. Quick drop. Smith in trouble. Just lays it up. That's going to get picked off. Picked off by Lake's Chad Brusky. Brusky with the INT. That is the 3rd second-half turnover on the Cape.
Well, Juan Smith lost his composure right there. He didn't see anything good happening downfield, and he felt the pressure, and I think he threw it blind. It looked like he just threw it downfield hoping for a miracle, and it didn't happen.
That should just about put the reps on it. 24-point lead as we go inside the 6-minute mark here in the 4th quarter of play. Menor Lake Catholic, as we said, I don't know what was said to them. We'll find out from John Gibbons at halftime, but obviously they did not enjoy being down 14-10. They have scored 28 unanswered points. Jelovic to throw. Giravicius looks like he's gone. Bird caught him at the 12. The quick slant to Joe Giravicius, and the All-Ohioan with his 8th grab of the afternoon. What a football player.
Well, that's the play they've been trying to get all game. They've been trying to throw that quick slant to Barnes. This time they go to Giravicius. He got inside of Bird. He really stuck him on the outside move, came inside. Jelovic puts it right where he wants to, up and away for the guy with the long arms. Bird shows good speed right here, catches him, prevents the touchdown.
I tell you, Mark, from this angle where we are on top of Paul Brown Tiger Stadium, I thought he was gone. I thought he had 6.
Well, it looked like he had the angle, but Bird has the great quickness and speed, tailback, all-state defensive back.
Mark Miller, a former quarterback at Bowling Green State University and also in the NFL. Mark, when you talk about receivers, as we take a look at Joe Giravicius, as he has had an outstanding day, 8 grabs, 189 yards, and the 2 touchdowns. We've seen his hands, but maybe you can enlighten our viewers on the routes he runs, how crisp they are, how precise they are. That helps the quarterback, doesn't it?
Well, that's the way you get open. And when you got a guy, I mean, we've talked about Bird. He's all-state defensive back. That kid can run. He's a great player. And yet Jaravicius has been open time and time again. How does that happen? Not because he's faster than Bird, because he runs great routes. He cuts on a dime. He sets his route up. If he wants to break to the inside, he'll attack the outside shoulder of the defensive back to turn his hips, and bang, across the inside he went, and he's wide open on the slant.
Yes, talk to Mark Miller in a moment about how many hours are spent, too, between a quarterback and his receivers syncing things up. And I don't mean just in the fall. It's a lot of summertime work, isn't it, Mark?
Oh, no question. There's never spare time for a quarterback and receiver. If you want to be great, you got to spend time. And I'm sure these kids live together this summer.
1st and 10 from the 12. Carmen Ilacqua trying to shake his way to the corner. We're going to get a face mask over there on Tony Pierre. Pierre in trying to arrest Pete Jelovic, Joe Jaravicius have had a day. 1st and goal. Or, excuse me, 1st and 3 from the 5. Who's he looking at? Barnes on the slant. Jelovic overthrew him. You know, it's amazing, Mark. We've certainly talked about Joe Jaravicius, but Jeremy Barnes, number 86, an outstanding receiver in his own right. Jelovic's been in sync with Jaravicius today, but not with Jeremy Barnes.
Yeah, it's kind of odd that way. I mean, Barnes caught 30 for over 17 yards a catch. He's a fine receiver in his own right, but it's just working today. You know, the two J-boys are out there hitting each other, I guess.
The karma is right with the J-boys. 2nd and 3 from the 5. Carmen Ilacqua to the corner, inside the 5, down to about the 2-yard line. We'll check the spot. That could be a 1st down and 1st and goal for Mentor Lake Catholic.
Just a handoff sweep, trying to go wide, trying to outrun the defense. Great play, good pursuit by C.A.P.E. They're a good defense. They've given up a lot of points today. Many of those are a result of turnovers. You can't stop 30-yard drives too often. And C.A.P.E. had to try to do it 3 times in a row, and it just didn't happen for them.
3rd down now. We've got a timeout by Mentor Lake Catholic. So, while the Cougars and John Gibbons talk about it, we'll tell you that the Mentor Lake Catholic's on their way to their 1st state championship. They lead the Crusaders of C.A.P.E. 38-14. Don't go away. We're going to come back for more 4th quarter after we pause for this local word. Four minutes, 57 seconds left in the contest. It has been a second-half bombardment from the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic. They're up 38-14, and Mark, records falling by the wayside in Division III.
We mentioned Pete Jelovic broke the record for Division III state championship passing. The old record, 143 yards by Mark Snyder of Ironton in 1982. He didn't break that record. He shattered that baby. He's up at 274.
Shattered it big time. 3rd and inches from outside the 2. Marty Lunkar into the end zone, standing up, touchdown, Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic.
Well, Lunkar, we've called his name on defense a lot today, all-state linebacker. He's also a fine running back and had many chances today, but they put him in the eye, the tailback. That's a big guy going up inside, untouched into the end zone.
Mark, you think John Gibbons wanted to get his all-state performer one here?
Oh, I think, you know, senior, captain, all-state performer. Hey, you know, have a little icing on top of that cake, buddy. You know, read your name in the paper a few more times. They deserve it. These kids have played well all year.
And the PAT once again is banged through the uprights right on the money. Perfect by Jim Novakovic. That is his 6th after touchdown on the afternoon. He's also added a field goal. Does that say, Mark Miller? Cha-ching, to borrow a catchphrase from one of the top commercials on television today. I'd say cha-ching is right.
45 points in a state championship game against a defense like C.A.P.E. You never would have predicted that, but having seen how the thing has unfolded with turnovers and great big-time pass plays, we can see how 45 points can come in a hurry.
This is Ohio State Championship football action, but let me remind you that Sports Channel is a network home of the National Hockey League. Don't miss a minute of the action on ice. Sports Channel showcases the brightest stars, the biggest rivalries, and the hottest games all the way to the Stanley Cup Final. NHL excitement only on Sports Channel. Be a part of it. Check your local listings for games and times in your areas. 45-14, Mentor Lake Catholic after being down 14-10 at halftime. 35 points. Mark 5 touchdowns in this second half of play. We talked about a very productive offense. They've showed us why.
They've done no wrong in the second half.
I know that's interesting. The kick came to one of the up men at the 45-yard line, and the C.A.P.E will get a chance to get the offense in gear one more time. See if they can get anything on the board. That's kind of a thrill, I would imagine, for the C.A.P.E's Josh Bledsoe, a 225-pound sophomore. Mark, I don't think he gets a handle the football too often.
Well, he caught it pretty well. Maybe
There's
he'll get a
Josh.
chance. He might get a chance to handle it more often next time around.
He's got 2 more years. He might say, Coach, did you see that?
I'm sure.
Got some hands.
I'm sure he didn't expect that. He caught it anyway.
Trips to the right for quarterback Juan Smith. Looks at Abernathy and goes to Terry Gladden. Oh, did he get popped? Hello. Right now, the hit coming from Mentor's John Scalaro, a 155-pound junior DB. Watch the hit here.
Trips to the right side. They ran 2 guys downfield, broke the other guy to the sideline, and what a close that was.
Closing speed. Some coaches call it hat speed, huh, Mark?
That's right. Get to him and put a hat on him.
45-14. Again, Juan Smith looking for some points. Going to decide to keep it and go himself. Good move. Still on his feet and in the open. Smith's gone. He has busted it all the way. 56-yard touchdown run. Excuse me, make it 51 by Juan Smith, the quarterback. Broken play against the second-team defense of Mentor Lake Catholic, and Juan Smith gets his ball club on the board from 51 yards away.
That's a fine run. It's a rollout pass. He decides to tuck it. Now watch him make things happen. Count the missed tackles. He makes a lot of misses. He's refusing to go down. This kid's a competitor, and he's had a nice game. Not as nice as I'm sure he had dreamt. But once he gets into the open, he's got the speed. It's over. John Gibbons upset. It doesn't matter whether he has his first or second or third team defense in there. He wants him to play and play hard, and that time they missed too many tackles for him.
We have seen a lot of points this afternoon, and Juan Smith adds to that category. He's looking for a 2-point conversion here. Could run it in, and now fires to the corner. Wanted Terry Gladden, but it was slapped down at the goal line. So the 2-point conversion attempt negated. Mentor Lake Catholic's lead sliced to 20 now at 45-20 with but 3:43 left in this Division III championship contest. And there is the hardware that the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic will take back to the city of Mentor to celebrate their state championship win in just 3:43.
Certainly is looking good for Lake Catholic. Now, you know, we've talked a lot about Pete Jalovic and the game he's had and the season he's had. Yet it's hard for me to believe that this kid comes out and makes second-team All-State, breaks a state championship record in passing, and he started the season as the #2 guy. They had a guy named Rick Trefsker who started out as a senior, returning all-league, all-county, whatever kind of quarterback. He was their leader. Game and a half into the season, total knee surgery, and he misses the rest of the year. And in steps Jalovic. He comes out and makes All-State in his own right, takes his team to a state championship. We talked to John Gibbons before the game, and he said, you know, Trefsker became a coach after he got hurt. He was on the sideline in the meetings, and he coached Jalovic into being the kind of quarterback that he is today.
Maybe we can get a shot of Rick Trefsker before this one's over. He wears number 13. He's a senior, and he's been an integral part of this, as Mark just said, this is what appears to be a state championship football run for the Cougars in Mentor Lake Catholic.
You know, it's good to see good things happen to good people, and John Gibbons is a good guy, and he must be a class guy, because in the last home game of the regular season, he put Trefsker out in the shotgun, let him walk onto the field. They didn't snap him the ball because he's injured now. He's got a bad knee, but they snapped the ball to the fullback just so he could come off the field in his last game as a senior and get a standing ovation. That's class to me.
And they're going to do the same thing right now as Rick Trefsker is now lined up in the shotgun. Now watch where the snap goes. It'll probably go to an up back. Yes, it did, to Marty Lonkar. Mark Miller was just talking about it, and that's exactly the play they ran. Number 13, Rick Trefsker, is now leaving the football field. See if we can get a shot of him over there. Standing at about the 45-yard line, number 13, Rick Tresker.
And all his teammates are congratulating him.
Heading over to the bench. He got in his play. There he is. Started the season as John Gibbons quarterback and gave way to injury, as Mark just told you.
They did it one play, then they took the whole first team out and the whole second team came on. This is what you talk about when you say class. These kids at Mentor Lake Catholic are learning a lot more about life than just how to play football. They're learning about what is the right thing to do and how you treat people when they try hard for your program. John Gibbons appreciates Rick Chesker. He gave all he could, missed down his senior year because of an injury, something he had nothing to do with, and yet he gave his all the whole season. He was at every practice, every game. They brought him out in a uniform. They let him warm up before the game, and now he gets to play in the state championship game. He didn't throw it or run it, but he played.
I told John Gibbons before the football game, and I know you did also, Mark Miller, that what a classy thing we thought that was for him to do. Classy move to take care of a young man who's come up through the ranks and meant so much to your football team. In at quarterback right now for the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic is Ryan Stakich. Stakich, just a sophomore, 6'5", 155-pounder. I want to tell you that the All-Ohio quarterback Pete Jelovic is done for the afternoon, obviously. 10 carries, or excuse me, hit 10 of 19 for 274 yards with 3 touchdowns and a couple of interceptions. Just a normal day at the office, I would imagine, Mark Miller, for Pete Jelovic.
Now, the way they threw it all around and those receivers that we've been talking about all day, you know, another day at the office for Juravicius, too.
Today's combined 65 points, as you see graphically on your screen, equals the 1984 Division III title game record. So another score will put this one numero uno in the history books here in the state of Ohio in Division III. 45-20, it has been a second half total bombardment by the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic. Again, in case you're just joining us, they were down 14-10 at the break and opened it up with 28 points in the third quarter and added another touchdown here in the fourth. Ryan Stakich running the show offensively. Going to reverse pivot and run option right. Pitch the football to John Coco. Coco, 145-pound junior, knocked that out of bounds at about the 49-yard line. Probably come up about a yard shy of that first down. Let's call it 4th and 1 now from the 49 of the Cape. Clock stop with 2:22 left in it. We're very pleased that you've been a part of this Division III state championship game. Michael Regai along with Mark Miller here at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon. Juravicius going to have to trot it back out one more time. Probably thought his afternoon's work was over, but he's going to boot it away. Nobody deep for the Cape. Not going to matter because the Cape just knocked Juravicius down. Mark, not only does this young man tremendous as a wideout, I think he could punt in Division I also if he had to. Laid that baby down at the 1.
That's right. That's a long way away across the field from hash to far sideline, and that block attempt wasn't too close. I think they were trying to work out a little frustration there, taking it out on the punter. Juravicius has made this a long afternoon for Cape.
Yard line where the Cougars will run it 1st and 10 with 2:05 left in this contest. Well, it was an outstanding football game for the first 24 minutes as the Cape got what they wanted out of their running game offensively. Basically kept Mentor Lake Catholic's productive offense off the field, but in the second half, turnovers cost them big. Sophomore quarterback Ryan Stakich giving off the football to James Gibbons. Gibbons, 150-pound junior. Let's check that. Gibbons just a freshman wearing number 30. 5'6", 150-pound freshman James Gibbons.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to remind everyone to please remain
Crusaders of
off the
Cape,
field
Steve
while
Sheehan says, well, we're allotted these timeouts, Mark. We've got them coming, so we're going to take one.
Well, he probably wants to set the tone for the final couple of minutes. He's talking to his guys. Hey, I'm proud of you. You did a great job. We're winners, even though we didn't win this particular game. Let's keep our composure, Let's not do anything silly that we're going to be embarrassed about later on. Just play hard the last couple of minutes and let's go home winners, even though we're state runners-up instead of champions. You know, there's a lot of big-time thrills going on right now. There's a lot of kids on this field that probably only ever dreamt that they'd get on the field in a state championship game, and here they are. Boy, they're going to have stories to tell grandkids. Huh? They're going to, those stories they'll escalate. They'll be, I ran the ball a couple times, I caught a touchdown. You know, I tell that to my kids now. They don't know.
Why are they always embellished?
Yeah, your memory goes when you get older.
Senility sets in. 45-20, Mentor Lake Catholic on top by 25. It's a matter of running out the clock now for young quarterback Ryan Stakich and the rest of his second-team offensive mates. Cuts back off option left inside the 30 down to about the 27 yards.
Number 7, Ryan Stakich.
Good decision by Ryan Stakich.
Well, he's probably got a little pressure on him. He's following 2 all-state quarterbacks. He's got to do something.
Hey, it's like, hey, young man, don't go out there and do anything to dishonor us.
That's right. You know, we talked about a lot of things of why Mentor Lake Catholic came on and had a great second half. And you look at the flag, and the doggone thing's hanging almost limp now. So certainly they have come on and taken advantage of the calmer weather to throw that football in.
There you see the furrowing defense run up front by Steve Sheehan and his Crusaders of Cape. Again, Ryan Stakich will cut inside off option left. He's very close to that first down on 3rd and 3. See where the officials spot it. They're going to bring the quick sticks out now and measure this baby to see if Mentor Lake Catholic is kept it. I think Johnny Gibbons just got doused by the Gatorade or the water over there.
Yeah, the fans love it too. John Gibbons
there
is
he
just
is.
sure glad the heat wave hit the last day or two.
There's
He'd be
John.
freezing. He doesn't mind.
Jeremy Barnes, one of his outstanding two-way performers, who's intercepted a pass here today. 49-26 in his 7th year. That's as a head coach at Mentor Lake Catholic, a long-time assistant in many programs, Mark, around the Cleveland area.
Well, he's served his time, and when he's got this team together, he's set it in order to make it a power, and that's where he's got him right now.
Matter now of going down on one knee, I would imagine, for Ryan Stakich. Well, he makes a liar out of me as he decides to carry the football off a play fake. And that should probably do it as the clock hits 20 seconds, unless Steve Sheehan wants to stop it. You can give the Division III 1991 Ohio Prep Football State Championship to John Gibbons and his Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic. 45-20 over the Cape. It's over. There you see the joyous band of Cougars from Mentor Lake Catholic. 3 times they've been to the state championship tilt. As John Gibbons told us, Mark Miller, before, all the alums have come back and said, Coach, we've been here and we've knocked on the door many times. What do you say we kick one in for a change?
They kicked it in fine fashion and made no doubt about who should win this football game. And I'm sure the whole community and the good group of fans they brought will be so excited.
45-20 your final numbers. The Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic, the Division III state champions. Don't go away. We'll be back to put this Division III title tilt to sleep for the night after we pause for this final break on Sports Channel. Today's Division III Ohio High School State Championship game has been brought to you by IGA, the hometown proud folks. Final numbers ring loud and clear to the city of Mentor and Lake Catholic's Cougars, 45-20 over the Crusaders of Cape. Outstanding football game, plenty of offense as you take a look at the Cougars of head coach John Gibbons. And Mark, we take a look at their state championship history. Semifinalists, as we've been saying through the telecast, in 82, 83, and 90, but never bringing home the state hardware until 1991. They put on a show for us.
They really did. This whole team, obviously, except for the kids new to the team, were here last year in the semifinals, so it's hard to come just one time and win it. C.A.P.E.'s a great team as well. They would have been fitting champions, great regular season, and they've got a little bit of a domination down there in the southwest corner of the state on their own.
There you see, of course, All-Ohioan number 5, Mike Barwick, terrific fullback and linebacker, with a young man who caught a touchdown pass, Jewel Johnson there, number 2. Proudly displaying the runner-up championship hardware here at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon. Great season for the C.A.P.E. They winded up 13-1. All right, let's take a look at some of the final team numbers, courtesy of our statistician, David Knight. There you see the big one in yellow, the passing yardage. Pete Jelovic and his wide receiver, Joe Juravicius. What a day, Mark Miller. 306 yards that Jelovic threw for, most of that to Joe Juravicius.
They put a show on. They came up with the big plays when they had to have them, and the statistics there, you know, they were really kind of unbalanced the first half in C.A.P.E.'s favor with not much score that way. And the passes came out, they hit the big ones, they went in the end zones. You don't see many first downs because they went in the end zone.
There, of course, is Ohio High School Athletic Association Assistant Commissioner Deb Moore as she regales the Cougars of Mentor Lake Catholic with their first high school state championship. 45-20 the final. We'll come back and give you a couple of more individual numbers and say goodbye after we tell you that Lake Catholic's Cougars beat the C.A.P.E. 45-20. We pause for this final local break. That's going to be a celebratory weekend, to say the least, in the city of Mentor, Mark Miller. Lake Catholic's Cougars with a 45-20 win over the Crusaders of C.A.P.E., who suffered their first loss of the year. And let's remember, as we said during the course of the telecast, this C.A.P.E. is a football team that came in to this contest today just dominating football teams defensively. So it kind of gives you an idea what was accomplished by that band of young men you see kneeled there with head coach John Gibbons.
That pass offense did something that no other offense has been able to do, and that's make C.A.P.E.'s defense look bad. And they always say, you know, losses last too long and victories last too short a time. So let's hope they can revel in this happiness and enjoy it for as long as they possibly can.
Let me give you some numbers from some outstanding individuals here quickly this afternoon. The quarterback of the C.A.P.E., who certainly distinguished himself very well, Juan Smith, went 9 of 16 through the air for 123 yards. He was picked off twice, but he threw a touchdown pass to Jewel Johnson and then put on a tremendous change of direction, broken field run for a 51-yard touchdown. Big day from junior quarterback Juan Smith. And, Mark, he's back for more for Steve Sheehan.
He's a good player, and he kind of overshadowed by the big passing stats from Jelovic, but he's a great player in his own right, run and pass. He threw the ball really well today, much better than I imagined he could.
Quarterback Pete Jelovic for the Mentor Lake Catholic Cougars, 10 of 19, 274 yards and 3 TDs, is great wideout. All-Ohioan Joe Juravicius, 8 grabs, 188 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. Big day for the Cougars.